Gabby and Carolyn had a lot to say on the latest episode of Gabby's podcast, in which Carolyn from the Traitors and Gabby from the Traitors had quite the kiki. So we're going to talk about that, talk about a couple other things. So grab a beverage. Hopefully you're wearing something very comfy. Smash that like, make sure you're subscribed, and let's get started.
If you like what you see, come and get it with me. I know you deserve all you want. Your heart's made of gold, but don't wait till you're old. If you want it, I get you some.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel, stand-up comedian and pop culture vulture, Joleen Lunzer here for another episode of No Offense, All Offense, the show where we take a look at pop culture news, trending topics, things we love to hate, things we hate to love, reality TV shows, all that. We take a comedic look, we roast, we recap, we react. Remember, I'm very opinionated, but that doesn't mean that you guys have to have the same opinion. You are welcome to sound off in the live chat or the comment section if you're on the replay crew. And we can just respectfully agree to disagree and stay very, very calm, like our friend Tamra Judge.
That's my opinion!
Very calm. It's just my opinion. Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. So good to see you all in the live chat. Make sure you smash that like. It's a free way to support the channel. It lets people know we're here. Let's set a like goal for 600. Can we get 600 likes, you guys? We've done it before. Can we do it again? We're also on our way to 50K subscribers. So subscribe, share this with your friends. And if you want to support the channel further, you can do what David Cushmore did here, and you can send a super chat here on YouTube while we're live. I'll highlight your comment. We can talk about it. Otherwise, if you want some bonus content, emojis, stuff like that, you can check out my YouTube membership. We do members only lives that are really fun. And those are for our YouTube members and also 2 of the tiers on Patreon. And if you're like, where do I find the links for that? Well, they're in the description of this video. You can find the links to Patreon if you prefer, or YouTube if you prefer. And try not to, I think Patreon, and I don't know if YouTube does this, but Patreon just sent me an email where they are, if you use Apple products, they're charging more. And it's crazy because the creators don't see the money. So we set our subscriptions at a certain price, like $5 a month, for example. But then Apple users are paying like $7.99. And I'm like, huh? So I don't really get why they're doing that other than just stealing money from people in a time where people don't have money, which is pretty gross. But, so make sure if you are signing up on an Apple device, an iPhone, MacBook, make sure you're not getting overcharged. They said it wouldn't affect anyone who's currently signed up, but for some reason, Apple users are getting charged more. I don't know. David says, what do you think with your husband and yourself about the new Minnesota Vikings? The Minnesota Vikings got even better, picking up Hargrave, Allen, Fries, Kelly, and Rodgers. I haven't. My husband's been listening to the all the Vikings podcasts, and then I dabble a little bit off season, but we were really listening to it during the season. But it looks like we got some good picks. We got some big guys. I think we got rid of one of the bigums, Bradbury. Chell, did we get rid of Bradbury? Not yet. Are we going to? I think we're going to. And he was a thickum. Did I call him a bigum? Not a bigum. He's a thickum. He's a thickum because he's a thick. So I'm excited, David. I'm excited for upcoming season. I never thought I'd say that about foosball. But here we are. Who am I? Who is she? Who is she? You know, where did you find her?
Who is she? Who is she? Who is she? Where did you find her?
In the Midwest. Chickenhead PK Dorkface Nearly, so good to see you. Thank you. Happy early. Yeah, we're one day away. Tomorrow is St. Patty's Day. Happy St. Patty's Day to you as well. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all. Score North. Chow, do you listen to Skull North? That's the one I listen to. What's that guy's name? The 3 guys. Matt. Yes, Mackie, Judd, and Declan. Skull North. Yes, Carissa, they're hyped. My husband said that's the one you listen to. I'm like, there's one guy that's older, there's one guy who's medium, and there's one guy who's young. And that's all I know when I listen to them. Anna says the Vikings can throw all that great stuff away if they end up taking on Rodgers. Really? What's the deal with Rodgers? Chow? Is Rodgers bad news? Chell said, find out when we do talk about the husbands tonight. So Chell's going to join us because we didn't do it Friday. So he just made his decision. I said, let me know later if you have enough time, because Chell is finishing his RN program, so he's very busy. So it sounds like we're gonna do a talk about the husbands tonight, Sunday night, and find out what Chell thinks about not Aaron Rodgers. No. What? Why the fuck would we want him? He keeps saying find out tonight. I had no idea. I thought it was a different Rodgers. I was like, whatever. Aaron Rodgers. We did this once already as Minnesota Vikings fans. You guys, we did this with what's his nuts who stole from his charity. What's his name? My husband calls him Mr. Show My Pee-Pee to Women. What's his real name? Mr. Steal from the Poor in the South. Okay. You guys know who I'm talking about. We've already done this. Oh my God. Hi, Pop. What, honey? It hasn't been done yet, my husband said. Favre. Yeah, Brett Favre. Click, click, boom. It's like gross. Ew. What's the tea, Ben? Well, the tea is the Vikings might grab Aaron Rodgers. What? What in the foosball is going on? Brett Favre can suck it. So can Aaron Rodgers. Oh my God. Hasn't happened. My husband keeps yelling, hasn't happened yet. Anna says, as a Packers fan, I almost hope you guys take him. And so rude. He's a poison to the franchise. Yeah, whoever he was on last season, he's like a big baby. He's one of those toxic man babies. Speaking of which, you guys, I forgot who said it in the comments. If you're here, I'll look it up later. But someone said, Jolene, I have a new name for you. You're the narc slayer. Because we talk about a lot of toxic men on these television shows and in society, and these narcissistic POSs, and we roast them and recap them. And I'm like, oh my God, being a lover of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and calling out this shit. I think I got to change my title when I come in here. Instead of No Offense, All Offense, the show will always be that, but I will be with No Offense, All Offense as the narc slayer. It was so good. Silly Goose, thank you for the super chat. Yes, anti-vax Craig is Craig Conover an anti-vaxxer? Likes conspiracy theorist Rodgers. Of course he does. Of course he does. Oh my God. Yeah, he's mega toxic too. Mm-hmm. I saw that. Sorry, Tammy, if you don't watch foosball. I just recently got into it, so it's very exciting to my neurodivergent brain that I'm just like, oh, Paul, I've missed you. Can we have a No Offense, All Offense bracket challenge? If I don't know how to do that, but maybe Hype Man Husband Shell can help us with that. That might be fun. Hi, Amy. I know Craig is a conspiracy guy and the pandas and stuff, but I didn't think he was like that kind of conspiracy guy. Yeah. I'm the narc police. I'm the narc slayer. You guys. Hi, Lucinda. So good for you guys all to be here. I appreciate you so much. Okay, so we got to talk about some stuff today. I feel like all the podcasts and interviews and things are coming out lately, and so much tea is being spilled, and so much is going on, whether it be the Traitors, the Valley, Vanderpump Rules type stuff. Brittany has a new podcast, Brittany Cartwright. Well, technically it's the rebrand of her podcast she had with Jax. So she kept the name. We talked about this last week. So Brittany Cartwright from the Valley, formerly Vanderpump Rules, formerly married to Jax Taylor. They're going through a divorce. And all this will be shown on the upcoming season of The Valley, season 2, which I believe starts April 15th. And I'll be roasting and recapping it. So if you haven't watched The Valley season 1, you can check it out. You don't have to. You can just jump in with us for season 2, because mostly it's just about roasting the ridiculous behavior of a lot of these dudes and some of the ladies. So her and Jax, she got custody of the podcast, and they had this podcast called When Reality Hits, and it sucked. I'll be honest with you. No offense, all offense. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. It was a sucky podcast. And Jax, when they got separated, Jax tried to make a segment for himself where he said, in the mind of a man. And we were like, what? That should be offensive to all other men. All right. Any man who's not a toxic piece of shit like Jax should be offended that Jax thinks he can speak for men when he's not a man. That's not how a man behaves, how he behaves. So he now has signed with Podcast One, and he has a podcast, and Brittany rebranded it When Reality Hits with just herself. Now, you guys showed up and showed out when I asked you last week if you would give, I think it was, if you leave like 15 comments or to say to roast the first episode of Jax's podcast, which has already dropped. Oh my God. Like, we need more dumb men to tell us what to, like, to be talking into a microphone. We already have that with the Rogan crew. We already have that with all the, alt-right peeps talking it's just like, so Jax is just another one. And you guys showed up and you showed out. And I think you left me like 50 comments. And I said, if I got 50 roasteds and 300 likes, which we're well over that, I would roast not only the first episode, but the second episode too. So tomorrow we're going to be diving in to Jax's podcast, In the Mind of a Man. And these podcasts are only interesting when we roast them because they're so ridiculous. Thank you, Laura and Christy Buffenmeyer's here. We caught you live. Finally, we are on a cruise. Fancy, on a cruise ship headed to Jacksonville, then a 12-hour drive home. Thanks for keeping us up to date on the tea. You are so welcome. You guys, safe travels. Enjoy the last of your cruise. I hope you had a great time. So we'll be roasting that. We also have Brittany, her first rebrand of the When Reality Hits podcast episode is out. And who does she choose for her first guest? You guys, for her, like, I'm free, women empowerment, like, yeah, I can do this. I'm every woman. It's all in me. She chooses the number one player hater herself, Lala Kent. Was like, what? Bye, witness. But we're going to roast. Maybe we might get to that today if we have enough time. But I haven't listened to it yet. I know that Lala dislikes Jax and they had a falling out. And Lala's trying so hard to get on the Valley. But we also know that any of her, pro-woman shit is very performative because we see how she treats women. We saw how she treated her ex-assistant Jess, who appears to be wonderful and is branching out and successful. And she just threw her out when she wanted to go off and do, more, allegedly. And now she has her own podcast and is doing something like really cool and creative. And Lala couldn't even give her a proper goodbye. We know how she sold her friend Ariana and Katie out to stay on the show. We know that it's all performative with Lala, unfortunately. But she's going to try to get us. She's going to try to make us think she's one of us. But girl, you have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of repenting to do, and a lot of nerve.
They not like us. They not like us. They not like us.
Because we saw the last season of Vanderpump Rules. We saw it's not even the seasons that are as bad. It's post-season when these people double down on their shitty behavior. Oh my gosh. Carolyn Bird. Hey, Carolyn says, Joleen, last week, Tom Sandoval, and his band were playing at the area casino by me. They had 3 fun buses ready to take fans to it. 3 fun buses. Ended up canceling 2 of the 3. Only 16 fans went. That sounds about right. The Lala redemption arc. We're going to get that. Come on. He's already got a tour. No, Anna. Jax already has a tour for that new podcast. You guys, these jokes write themselves. They're just a joke themselves. So it's no wonder we find this so hilarious. Hope says, who's his audience? No one's going to want to listen to him without Brit. No one wants to listen to an abusive man. Admitted abusive man. Now his wife has went on. Now, granted, he lies and tries to, put a little bit of blush, zhuzh up, make his abuse look pretty, but we see it for what it is. You're a narcissist and you're an abusive fuck and you're a liar. And you treat women like shit and you don't like women. Like that's Jax Taylor, according to me. Okay. 16. Well, okay. You guys. All right. So we have so much content this week. And I already started. I'm going to try this week to do the early morning lives at 9:30 my time. And I'm on the Pacific time zone over here in California. So we'll see if everyone likes that. I want to do a full week of early lives and see if that's what we should do going forward. So Evelyn says, are the people who really buy tickets to Jax's podcast, are they real people? I don't know. I have so many questions. Okay. But Tom Sandoval recently, and as recently, I mean, I think last night, he had a concert at Hinckley casino in Minnesota. Shout out to my fellow Minnesotans. And before you ask, Nana was not there. Nana's still out here on the West Coast, and she'll be back at my house in about 2 days. She's been having adventures, and we'll have her back on and have her maybe for like a members only, a night pants with Nana, tell us about her adventures. But I was curious, like, was Carolyn there? And I don't think she was there. Now, Tom Schwartz was there, and Tom Schwartz is a Minnesotan. I believe he maybe grew up in Woodbury, which is like a suburb of the Twin Cities, a suburb of St. Paul. And it's a nice suburb. And well, sometimes we call it Rudeberry, but it's not that bad. And he was there and taking pictures with fans. And Tom Sandoval also posted to his stories to say his podcast is coming back, because I think he's really hoping to go off of this, you know, Traitors, these people who have found him just off Traitors, hoping that that translates into new audience and new revenue with that shitty podcast of his that he started with Laptop Boner Jason, where it was a mess and he cannot stay consistent, and he's here and he's gone. I think the last episode he did was with his girlfriend, Vicki Lee Robinson, where they said they were going to move in together, and now she's still living with her dad in a house, and he's still in he and Ariana's shared home from the show, the one he's allegedly squatting in. Anna says, Vicki was there according to someone who I follow, but I couldn't get confirmation of Carol. Yes, of course, Vicki, yes, she was there, but I don't think Carolyn was there. And the reason I say that is because if you were going to take a listen to Gabby's podcast with Carolyn, and Carolyn makes some pretty interesting claims. She even asked Gabby if she thinks Tom Sandoval was medicated at the reunion and like the events, because when they all filmed the Traitors reunion in Los Angeles, they all did a lot of events together. Now we know Carolyn had previously said that Tom was very cold to her and didn't really talk to her. And we're like, Carolyn, that's what Tom does. He will use you. And you go do all these interviews and you speak up for him and you think he's this great guy and he tries to manipulate and he pretends he's like cool and quirky and all these things. And then he'll throw you aside. And I still wholeheartedly believe that Tom, during his Traitors time, led that woman on. He probably flirted with that woman. God knows what he tried to do with Carolyn. And I think Carolyn took it as like, wow, he's like me. We're both quirky. People misunderstand us. He's not like you, Carolyn. He's not vulnerable and open. He is a manipulator and he's a fake and he's performative. And we've watched him for many years do that. So here we are. So Carolyn had, you could tell there was like a little bit, you know, we've seen her go on these interviews and she just is gushing about this man, sticking up for him. She's going, cancel me. She's like, cancel me tomorrow. I love Tom Sandoval. She's like, and Bob the Drag Queen. I love Tom. His music is good. It's good. It's good. You got girl. It's good. I love Tom Sandoval. His music is good. Girl, cancel me tomorrow. I don't care. Every interview she did, it seemed like she talked more about Tom Sandoval than she did herself. And she's on the rise. Her star is on the rise. Why do we as women spend so much time trying to save toxic men from themselves? Like it's not doing us, it's not servicing us. And he's not doing anything for you. But we know that, you know, there's manipulation and all these things, okay? So now Carolyn is out there saying, you know, what's wrong with Tom? Did you think something weird with Tom? And you would only be asking that if you really did think you had like a true connection with him. If you really think you did have a true relationship with him, you can tell that it hurts her that he is very, you know, quiet, cold, and dismissive. But that's the thing. Those kind of men, unlovable. They can't love you back. Can't love you back. Do. Okay, so let's listen. And I'm going to skip through a little bit because I don't want to listen to the whole interview because I've already listened to it. And there's parts that we don't need to roast and recap. Here, let me see if let me know, you guys, if you can see what I have here on the screen. And give me a thumbs up that you can hear the audio too. But also, there's just so many parts in this that Carolyn, it seems that she was also talking shit about Sheena Shea. You guys, and apparently, you guys let me know what you think. But it sounds like, actually, I'm going to do it like this. I like when we're on like Together. Can you guys see this one? Let me check myself before I ask you guys. This new StreamYard is like, oh, they act like it's so much better, but it's really not. Okay, we can see it. Awesome. Good. All right. Hit that like. We only have 89 likes, 202 people watching. Can we get to 200 likes, you guys? Let's see. Let's do it. So, okay. So it seems that, Carolyn's talking shit about Sheena Shea, and that Sheena, this is my interpretation, and I don't know if Sheena has spoken on this. We know she will, and we'll be here for it. But it seems like Sheena reached out to her to maybe work with her under the Sheena's Shenanigans brand, or go on her podcast, meet for coffee, see if there were future business opportunities, which is very common, in any business, but definitely in LA. To be like, let's grab coffee. But it seems like Carolyn was like, I'm not gonna, people are thirsty, girl. And I'm not gonna go with you have like a woman run business, but your husband's doing this. Why, girl? No. Carolyn the thing about Carolyn is she is very unfiltered. But then when people pick up on this, and I see bloggers kind of reporting on this, she'll write in the comments, no, not true. Take it back. Delete this post. I saw under some blogger's Instagram, Carolyn commented, please take down this post. It's not true. It's not about Sheena. It's like, you can't say these kind of things and then not expect the public to speculate on it. I think Carolyn is like, come on. They're going to speculate. Okay. All right. So give me a thumbs up as soon as you can hear the audio for this, and we'll get this party started.
No, you wouldn't just start. I really would. And they'd be like, are you recording? I'm like, no.
No, I just have some shit to say. Okay,
Good.
Carolyn, how do you pronounce your last name?
Wiger.
Let me make sure I didn't
Right,
miss
right.
any part.
Is like mid.
And they'd be like, are you recording? I'm like, no.
I thought the part they like tease it in the beginning, but maybe she took it out at the beginning and it'll be at somewhere in the podcast where she talks about Sheena. We'll get there.
No, I just have some shit to say. Okay,
Good.
Carolyn, how do you pronounce your last name?
Wiger.
Okay, well,
I hate good. You have like a cute one. So it's like, seriously, I don't.
no, I love everything you stand for.
But you know what I'm saying. And tell me
Yeah.
about Red Bull and it's not cute.
Okay. One more thing before we get too far into this. You guys can find this. It's Gabby's Long-Winded. So you can go is that what it's called? It's called Long-Winded with Gabby Windy. And go subscribe to her. Go show her all the love. If you're not already, follow her on Instagram. She has like 1 million followers. And give, I don't want to stop a woman's bag. I want Gabby to reap all the benefits of her wonderful personality. Obsessed. I think she's so great. Love it. She's talking shiz on the patriarchy and, really seems to be a voice for women that isn't performative. It's not coming off as performative like some of these people. La. Okay. So let's get it back. You can also find her podcasts if you just want the audio version everywhere you find podcasts. All right. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
No, I just die laughing because it's like so much caffeine.
You don't drink caffeine?
I have like a half a cup in the morning.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just naturally anxious. So if
I am too,
drink-
and that
if-
probably makes it way worse.
Yeah.
We're going to skip ahead a little bit.
No, I die. But it's all the time. People, what's going on here?
I don't drink coffee. I don't.
It's so crazy to me because that's why I need to sleep.
She literally said,
Oh,
I
I called the car and canceled.
I go get, I wasn't going to do because I wasn't
Well,
vibing.
for-
Like I was sick of it.
Yeah.
They wanted us at everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so now they're starting to talk a little bit. Yeah, obviously, this interview is going to be all over the place. But they're talking about the time in LA when they were filming the reunion.
I know, but it just like was not the vibes.
No, I know. And I wasn't going to do because I wasn't
Well,
vibing.
for-
Like I was sick of it.
Yeah.
You were brave enough for going to the dinner thing after. But my friend wanted to go to the experience because she'd never experienced it.
Yeah.
Which
No, I love that.
it was cool, but we thought that there was going to be like some other stuff there, like press, or like we were going to video it, or like some, especially the housewives are like, "Where's like the cameras?" We were playing the game. We were like playing
Again.
the game and doing the missions and doing counting and
No.
doing yes. And so I kept
Exactly.
How long was
Heather.
it?
It was almost 2 hours.
Oh my God.
So for someone who's not played, yeah, it's awesome. It's cool. You get a goodie bag. You get a hat that says Traitor.
Oh my God. I was going to bring cloaks for us,
Yeah.
but I don't have any. But I
Like,
wanted to match.
I didn't even, girl.
Girl, did you sew your own?
I
Did you
should
get
have
one?
because it would have been nicer. But like, I haven't even put that dusty thing on in a while. I'm done.
You have trauma.
I have like good.
No, you're so traumatized. Okay, wait. I do. But like, yes. What?
Because it's not, I'm gonna forget about it, but it hurt my feelings.
Yeah.
Good when you're like, I don't want to be a traitor.
I know, but it's not personal though.
But I heard that you do. So somebody told me, and I'm truthfully, because I love to talk shit, but
I'm
like
dead.
someone said,
Yeah.
no, Gabby said that she just didn't want to be a traitor then, but now does.
Was it Wes?
Yes.
Yeah, see? He's a little shit talker.
It was Wes.
Yeah, he
Is
said
that not true?
no, he said if you were to do it again, which one, why would I do it again? If they bring people back, you'd be like way better at it.
Wes
Plus,
starting
what
drama.
the fuck? I talk enough shit.
Yeah.
I don't need to go on another TV show to do it. And I did it once. It was great.
I do wonder why Carolyn's like, it hurt, girl, it hurt my feelings, okay? That Wes told me that you didn't want to be a traitor. Then you say you did want to be a traitor. Is it because Carolyn wanted to recruit her as a traitor? And she is saying that she told Wes, I wouldn't have wanted to. But Carolyn's like, I'm going to tell you if you hurt my feelings. And so here she is, confronting her on the podcast. You hurt my feelings.
And I was like, maybe. He was like, would you want to be a traitor? I'm like, maybe. But what am I going to say to Wes? I'm a chameleon. I tell people what they want to
You
hear.
really do. Why? How are you able to do that? Really? Are you fucking serious? I thought you were the most realist person ever.
I mean, it depends who I'm talking to. I don't want to fight with Wes. I can keep it real with Boston Rob. See, I can't even tell Wes that even if that was the truth, he's going to run his mouth.
He did. He told
What
me.
the fuck?
He's like, Gabby, because I said, this is what hurt me during the nothing else. But I because I had this dream and it really was keeping me through the game where I'm like, this is going to be fun. And I'm going to like, woo! But that wouldn't have been fun for you.
It is a lot of pressure. It's like, this is the thing, like you have experience with strategizing, but even in Survivor, I didn't even think like a strategist. Like when Dylan was like
You did,
thinking
though,
about,
Gabby. You
but
did.
that's, I know, but that's my strategy is I'm like that in all of life. I can like whatever pivot. I can take things as they come. Everyone else is planning 5 steps ahead. Dylan's like, if this happens with this year and this challenge and then this and then this and then this. I'm like, have you ever lived a life? Do you know what
true.
life goes like?
No.
Nothing goes to plan. But I feel like I'd be too nervous as a traitor.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, because
you
what
would
if
have
they
been
caught
fun
me?
and great. No, you would. I honestly think, and you have so much confidence, and like you would have been.
It's all
funny.
fake.
It is not. There's no way. I thought for sure you, and then you would be the type. In my opinion, you would have been like, meh, and we would have, and it would have been fun and funny instead of like the try hard, like.
Yeah. Well,
So
you
hurt
did
my
it.
feelings, and it's all good.
No, I know. Wes,
He-
stop running your mouth. I was going to defend him because I actually do think he's funny, but this is the problem is he's a gossip.
He is, but I really like,
And
and
he
he was
turns
trying to
on
hurt
you.
me a little bit.
Exactly.
I do, because I said that's the one thing that I was really. He said,
Like, that's a completely different question. If you were to do it again, like, are you sure you wouldn't want to be a traitor? Like, that's a leading question. And then he took it and ran with it.
I did, and he hurt
Yeah.
me, and it worked, and I did. Yeah, it's all good. But
Like, what the fuck? I was talking a lot of shit with Boston Rob. He's such a good gossip.
he is. And
Yes, we had a kiki. I had 2 glasses of wine.
So I feel like Boston Rob needs to come have a kiki with Gabby. I don't know if he's been on her podcast yet, but we need to get some Boston Rob gossip. But yeah, it sounds like the men, shocker, everyone wants to believe and, say, oh, women are the gossips, but.
And by the end, I'm like, are you going to go back and tell everyone what I said? And then I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I don't care
good,
anymore.
yeah, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Okay, where were you
Go
talking
back
to him?
at that dinner.
Witness.
We were sitting on the end, just him and I, and I'm like, great, what the fuck are we going to talk
That's a
about? And then
woman's
like,
right.
No, he's
Oh,
fun.
that's
yeah,
true.
he's so fun.
He's someone out there I fucking hated, and it's the
Mhm.
truth. And I was a lot of it too. I would get
Well, based
pissed.
on like, what did you hate him before?
No, I
Or
don't fucking know any of these people. When
Okay.
and I'm not like Bob literary queening right now. I did not.
Yeah,
I truly,
Queenie. But that was also true. I mean,
Bob did not know Dorinda.
no, yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. I barely knew Dorinda.
But don't you again? I don't watch that shit.
Yeah.
But isn't Dorinda like famous?
I mean, she was an OG New York housewife, but like I started with Jersey, so I knew who Dolores was because I love her. And I only after did we watch we do Traitors did I rewatch all of the old season of Housewives, and I'm a stan. I quote her all the time. But before that, I didn't know who Bob the drag queen was.
I even knew who and I don't even watch that shit.
Yeah, I do watch
So-
that shit, and I still didn't know who. You can exist in the circle. There's so many of us, and to not know. But I understand she kind of had to. Like, I think she really did take it personally. It's like, oh, you just
Absolutely.
like don't know Bob.
Like, but it was a little much. But I thought I did think I'm like, girl, like, because he
Yeah.
didn't want to get hate or something. Maybe he made that up. I don't. So
Yeah.
that is true. He really did not.
Yeah,
And not everybody knows who, but I just thought she was like the famous one on the
I know. I mean, I think she has like she has a huge name, but it's like doesn't everybody in their own circle?
in their own circle. So no, you're right. So yeah, I didn't know who the hell anyone was. I didn't have any pre-existing shit with.
But you hated
Rob.
Boston Rob during Traitors.
Yeah, I hated all of them. And so, and I went in there with that. And partially, and this is the truth, because I wear my heart on my sleeve. I am still thinking about you being a chameleon. So I wear it on my sleeve. And I had so much anger of like, or not anger is the wrong word.
Yeah.
Like, good. I didn't want a man to like.
Yeah.
And it was like the 3 big survivor names who've won multiple times. I was annoyed. I already hate men. And it was one of those things where like, get out of here. I don't want you telling me what to do.
Yeah.
And I've seen his season. Dude, I know him. I've never met Boston Rob. But he typically in his games, he'll tell people what to do. And he'll have like his little person by the side that just kind of is
Dylan.
an idiot or
Yeah. And I'm like, you said it, not me. Whatever.
It's true. It's true. And I didn't want to fucking be that. And so when he was like, it triggered me. Everything fucking triggered me out there. And that's the truth. Good.
No, same. It's so hard. People are like, it's a game. It's a game. Don't take it personal. To an extent. You really have, like, I don't think Boston Rob plays a personal game.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, he's like, I'm all in for myself. I'll backstab anyone. And that's what I appreciate. It's when you pick and choose. That's like, okay, so it is personal because you're treating me different. I will say, and I told you this, watching Tony, a Survivor winner, grown man, cry after he got kicked off a murder mystery game could dismantle the patriarchy.
But that's what I'm fucking saying. That's what I'm saying. And so what I'm seeing, because
Gabby has iconic lines. Watching Tony, winner of Survivor, cry after you get kicked out of Traitors could dismantle the patriarchy. And we definitely need dismantling of the patriarchy. So I am here for that. Oh my gosh. Okay, we've got 125 likes, 243 watching. Smash that like, you guys.
I'm going out there and like, yeah, I'm going to murder and do all this bullshit because I am an emotional fucking person. I did not think that this game, and that's why I really tried to disconnect. I didn't want to know anyone. I just wanted to, because I don't want,
Which going in again, I would maybe have that attitude, but it's so hard because like then I can understand like that's what you kind of have to play above yourself. You have to like watch yourself do all this, but it's just natural to make connections. Like you made friends on Survivor, right?
But, well, girl,
but was it different?
I mean,
literally, that's what it's like. My hair.
Breaking news. Kylan said, Ben says Kylan and Taylor from Big Brother are running the Amazing Race together as a couple. Is that confirmed or is that just like rumored? But I will say that is something that is pretty well known behind the scenes of Big Brother, that Kylan and Taylor had a fling relationship. I don't know what it was. And I don't think it was well received by everybody in the Big Brother community, allegedly. Obviously, everything I say is true, except for the parts that are false. Everything's alleged and for entertainment purposes only. But that was some tea that was going around for a while with other Big Brother players. And there were quite a few people who were not allegedly happy with Taylor when it came out that she was hooking up with Kylan. And I think it maybe had something to do with the feeling some type of way for Tiffany from BB23. However, Tiffany, didn't she go with Monty? So it was almost like they just kind of switched. But yeah, that was like, I didn't really talk about it because it was just one of those things that, I don't know. I just didn't really, there were certain people saying it and there were certain things I heard from inside sources, allegedly. And I think I had promised at the time, don't worry, I won't talk about it. But now since it's like coming out, yeah, there was like Taylor and Kylan were kind of hooking up. And then Tiffany and Monty were talking, allegedly. Again, they can fully come out and be like, the girls are lying, even though I'm not lying. That's literally what I heard. But oh, there's a tweet with the entire BB cast competing. Oh yeah, because it's a Big Brother season. Is Tiffany on it? Tiffany Mitchell? Oh, see, I like Taylor. Kylan can, whatever. I don't know. I'm just not invested in Kylan, so I don't really care. And I think he went on to do the challenge. But yes, interesting. I'll look further into it and we can talk about more of it later. Mm-hmm.
Their guy was like, are you excited? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, like, but everyone else was like meeting at the bar, like having a this and a that. He's like, you guys actually like each other? I'm like, I didn't think so. I like you, Nikki, Chriselle, and Sierra.
It was hard for me. And I'm not a natural, like, because I do freak people
Bob
out.
the drag queen. He'll get mad.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, I terrify people for the first time when I meet them. And I think it is because I do. And people, you know how many times people have said like, can I talk about autism here?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, like, I am begging for a diagnosis because like I'm not, but it's like,
Mhm.
well, that would explain things. And that would, no, like, girl, I'm not autistic.
Yeah.
I just don't give a shit. And I talk close sometimes because I want to see if I can freak you out. I know that it's not, it's truly not a, like, people think that again, that I don't have confidence, that I'm autistic. I'm not fucking autistic. I'm weird. Okay. But
Yeah.
it does creep people out. So on Survivor, yes, I was that person, like at first, in my faces and my noises and my, no, I'm just myself and I don't really care.
And it's more fun that way. When you text me this morning, there's a protest downstairs and I think I'm going to go. I'm like, why? Are they protesting something you really believe in? And you're like, no, I just like that shit. This makes so much sense. Were you always like this? Because I also want to talk about your sobriety.
Yeah.
I'm just like so interested in sobriety, but a part of me is like, because I really do, I want to stop drinking. Not because
Really? Do you drink?
a little bit, not because I'm so depressed that it will make me depressed.
So one thing I am surprised at is I thought you guys had said, and was this not said, and I still got to watch Carolyn's Survivor season, that Carolyn was neurodivergent like myself. I would be shocked if she wasn't, if she didn't have some form of ADHD. But it seems like, obviously, yeah, you're going to get offended if someone is just diagnosing you out there and you're like, this is just how I am. But I mean, I thought she was part of the ADHD team, but again, I'm not her doctor. I can't say. Oh, she does say. So there is like, the thing is, there's just not enough studies. I want to talk about ADHD and neurodivergence and stuff more. And I've talked to Christina Coca about venturing into that, maybe with her. And because I think there's just so much research and things that aren't done about women in regards to neurodivergence, ADHD, autism, the mixture of ADHD and autism in women. And so there's just, there's a chance she could have, I think it's AUHD. And yeah, I don't know. But I think there's so many of us that we have these preconceived notions of what that looks like, not understanding it is on a spectrum. And it doesn't always look the same in everyone. I mean, there are some things that, some symptoms and things that manifest a certain way in women compared to men, but they've historically done research on young white males and then white men. So people of color and women have been left out of a lot of the research for a long time. So that's why many women are getting diagnosed and have been very late in their life. It's not that everyone is just like, everyone has ADHD now. That's what people are saying. It's like, no, we have been underrepresented in the research and the studies and misdiagnosed with bipolar 2, that due to, this, due to, a lot of preconceived notions and stereotypes on women and men. And so unfortunately, there's so much more that even in my 40s, I'm just learning about myself because the information wasn't readily available and out there. Heather says, I heard she is, but never heard her confirm what her diagnosis is. Amy says, back in the 80s, when I was a kid, it was mainly the boys that acted out and were diagnosed with ADD. It was called back then. Yeah, because boys tend to, especially at that young age, their symptoms of hyperactivity or ADD are external. They're hyper, they do those things, where women, our ADHD, a lot of it's in our head. So the hyperactivity and the thoughts and the things that are going on is more internal, where for boys it's more external. And they were like, we don't need to study, girls. Liz says, hopefully they figure out how people's brains work so our children have a better chance, right, of reaching their full potential. That would be wonderful. Seriously. Beach says, I hope they do, Jolie. And I honestly, that is why I brought my ADHD daughter to see your stand-up. That's so great. In San Diego a few months ago. I love that. I love that you did that, because it is, I think that representation for ADHD women is so, we're all in this boat where a lot of us are getting diagnosed so late in life. And then we're like, what? And you have all this shame and this guilt and this masking that occurs. And we're exhausted of trying to fit into society's role of how things go when our brains literally don't work that way. And that's okay. But had we known this, we could have come up with, society as a whole could have, there could have been more understanding around that. So there wasn't such shame and blame, and we didn't have to suffer with rejection, sensitivity syndrome, and all these things. But we just weren't included in the conversation or in the research. So we were thinking, I know myself, I thought for the longest time, most of my life, there was something wrong with me. I was too much. talk too much. I was told I was too much. I was my thoughts. I was like crazy, all because I wasn't on like a plan to help myself. I didn't know how my brain worked. Nobody was helping me with that. They're like, why don't you think like this? Or why aren't you like the rest of these kids? Oh, I don't know. Then that just inherently means there's something wrong and damaged in me. And that leaves a scar in you. And this sense of wanting to prove yourself and can hold you back in life greatly. So had I had this diagnosis, had I had this information, things could have been a lot easier for myself and so many women out there. And we wouldn't carry around these feelings of like, there's something damaged in me and something's wrong with me. And it's crazy because I could talk about this all day, you guys, but yeah, maybe the difference are due to socializing. Evelyn says, Amy says, there's so many women like myself around my age that are diagnosed. Yeah, there's women who are diagnosed in their 60s. I just think how different my life would have been had I been me too. I think of that too. And that's not me, living my life in regret necessarily, but there's a certain process of almost mourning, or trying to get past that person that you were always told you are. And those things, those like problems that people, would put on you, and those labels people would put on you. And then the masking, especially that you learn as a woman, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. Aim says, I remember finding a woman's ADHD group on Facebook in 2015, and I felt like I finally found my people. That's wonderful. I love that for you. Yes. Yes, graphics. Square pegs trying to fit in round holes. Mm-hmm. Beach says ADHD girls make it difficult for them to keep friends because some think they are weird. Yeah, there's so many things within ADHD that if we had a greater understanding of how it comes out in women and how women and young girls with ADHD and how their brains are different and their neurodivergence, I think that would be so helpful for their relationships, for their family, for themselves, like everything. Heather says, my husband has only seen me unmedicated once in my 20s. When I was unmedicated, when I was pregnant, and he was so over it in 9 months. I mean, it is, yeah, and now I'm dealing with the ADHD mixed with the perimenopause. And some days I feel like, what? And we have so little research too, and so little out there even about perimenopause. I mean, I feel like conversations weren't had. And I go to the doctor regularly about perimenopause and about hormones and women and our fluctuation of hormones and all these different cycles we go throughout our lives that men don't go through. And we're just expected to function, like nothing is happening. But there are days where I'm like, I feel like that young girl again who just felt like no one understands me. I'm the problem. What is going on with my brain? What is going on with my emotions? What is going on with my moods? All those things. And I think a lot of women feel that way. But I saw a video of this lady online and she was like, how come no older women warned me of this? It's because no one warned them and no one warned them. It's like you hear about menopause, right? And you hear like, oh, you're gonna have night sweats. Oh, you're gonna get dry or something, but you really don't. It's just this thing. It's again, I think it has a lot to do with that, especially in the Western world. We don't look at aging in a great way. We don't appreciate aging. We don't lift up as people age. It's like, okay, you go die now. And we covet the young and the youth, which is crazy. I always talk about because none of us have the ability to get any younger, but we all, will get to, if you live long enough, you will get to these older ages and hit these milestones. But we'd rather go, that doesn't exist. Let's listen to Sabrina Carpenter. And not that you can't listen to Sabrina Carpenter, like let's watch young people more, and old people, we just want to like go away. And then as we age, we're like, whoa, this is fucked up, but we don't realize it till we're aging. So the ageism, yes. Paul says, I'm not a woman, but I am Black. And I got diagnosed at 35. Yes. People of color were not included in those studies. It was young white males and then white male adults. So many of us don't get diagnosed, but we are for damn sure thought of as, yes, obstinate kids with with problematic behavior. Exactly. I wish too, Susan, that we could normalize talking about lady issues. I might have to have like a segment here and there about perimenopause, menopause, things like that, because I am just like, like what? How are we supposed to? And don't even get me started on the S rates or suicide rates, I'll say, even though YouTube will probably, take my video down for saying that word, but with women between the ages of like 45 and I don't know, it was like 55 or something, like skyrocket. And hello, correlation to all of these hormonal changes and things that we're not understanding and we're not treating. It's crazy. It's crazy. I will try to have open conversations about that because I think it's important. And because I know I'm like going through it right now. It was like, boom, 45 hit, even 44. I started, and then I was like, what is this new reality? I don't think I like it. I don't think I like it at all. So yeah, it's such an unfortunate statistic. And again, I'm like paraphrasing what I've read about it. So I don't know the exact age range, but it definitely is within perimenopause and menopause that women, it tends to shoot up that they take their own lives, unfortunately. So, and I mean, the correlation seems pretty obvious to me, guys. So on that little segment, that little tangent we went on, we'll keep going. And shout out to all my neurodivergent perimenopause, menopausal peeps out there. Any menstruating friends, I see you. I know it's not easy. You're doing the damn thing. You're a freaking superhero.
Not even the day after, but like a week. Like, and you won't even notice it. But I'm like, how am I supposed to do the crazy shit like that and have something?
Girl! You came to the right
Has
person.
that-
I'm a licensed drug and alcohol counselor and a life coach. But here's the fucking truth. First of all, we all know this, and I don't want to sound like
No, please.
a drug counselor, but
No.
I am.
Wait, what were you addicted to?
Everything I could. They used to say,
Okay.
like, if you could smoke shit, you would. So,
Yeah,
like,
no, I
girl,
love to
mainly
smoke
Okay,
cocaine.
Carolyn's going to talk a
alcohol,
little about her addiction. Not that that's not important. I think it's wonderful and important. And we find out that she got sober, I think at like 22, which is so young to get sober. It must have been so difficult. I mean, I got sober at 32. That was hard enough. 22, God, that was like the height of Party Time USA. I didn't know anyone, especially from the Midwest. I didn't know anyone from Minnesota who didn't drink and didn't party. So I would have had to have, found a wonderful group of sober friends. But anyone that gets sober that young, I'm always like, oh my gosh, that must have been, it's never easy, any age, but to be 22 and in such a culture that is just like drink, and binge drink. And especially in the Midwest, I mean, literally that's all anyone did. Amy, so we're going to skip through a little bit of this, but Amy says, you're not noticing any perimenopausal syndrome symptoms, and I'll be 49 on Wednesday. I think it's because I take birth control. That could be because once I was off birth control too, it was like a whole other story, and I just didn't want to take birth control anymore and other reasons. And now it's like back to that. Even your like menstrual cycle feels like it moves back to when you were like 14, 15, 16. You're like, oh, I remember how horrible this is. Like, it's never a fun time, but it feels very reminiscent of when I was really young, and it's debilitating. So Liz, we need that on a t-shirt. Liz, that's genius. Hormones are terrorists. They really are. They really are. They really, really are. Yeah, unfortunately, it's never talked about. Liz says, I'm AUDHD, so odd HD, undiagnosed till I was 42, and have so many thoughts, especially when in this society, masking is part of the performance of being a woman. Yeah. Like we don't clock it because we're so used to it. We're so conditioned from the time we're young. Even non-neurodivergent people, women or young girls, are masking for other reasons and other things under a patriarchal society. And so it's like, then you bring in a neurodivergent brain into that, and you have to mask on top of the mask. You're masking on top of masking on masking on masking. And that's what I talked to my good friend Christina Coco about is, because sometimes I think I might present as not all. I don't think I do, but I think some people think I present as someone who is not, as I'm finding it hard to, someone who maybe doesn't suffer as much or something, or seems to have it like a little more I don't think I do, but it feels like when I talk to my friend Christina, she's brought that up. So she's like, how do you like, it looks like it's like, well, I'm exhausted from masking. Like there are days I just can't do it because I'm so freaking tired and I get emotional and all the things. So by no means am I processing or functioning on a higher or better level than anybody. No. I think I've just gotten so good at masking, but to the point of exhaustion. So she was like, oh, that makes me feel better. That might sound shitty. And I go, no, it doesn't sound shitty because you are, we do compare ourselves. We're like, well, she can do what's wrong with me? And I do that too. But comparison is a thief of joy. And I remind myself of that. But I think it's good to have these conversations because then you are saying, oh, no. What you see is not necessarily what's really going on. And how you present on like a YouTube stream or on social media you don't see the exhaustion laying in bed or the emotional aspects of it at all. So I am 100% unfortunately struggling too, So, you got sober at 38 and I wish I had stopped drinking it. Me too. That would have been great, but I didn't. So, but turns out there is a relatable that is who's that? Relatable Reese. Witness warning us of the grifters out there. Avarius says sending love to Kirsty. Oh, Kirsty says, I've got stage 4 breast cancer because my hormones. I have now fired into menopause and it's shit. Oh, I'm so sorry, Kirsty. Hot flashes. My head feels like it's going to blow off too. I was just telling my husband that yesterday. Oh my gosh, Kirsty, we are sending you all the loves, all the good, healing, lovely vibes, but getting thrown into menopause. My friend had breast cancer and we were in our late 20s and she was thrown into, actually, I think we were in our very early 30s then. And she was thrust into menopause as well. And it, not something that anyone should have to go through. Witnesses, I definitely have people I relate to more than others. So there's that, not a people pleaser here. So yeah. And that's the thing, neurodivergent people, we, by nature, we're not people pleasers, but what Gabby is talking about, how she can kind of almost like shapeshift, how she can kind of know what people want. That's kind of a neurodivergent trait as well, is that we can be in these conversations and be like, oh, okay, yeah. And kind of play the role, play the game because we've learned how to, but that doesn't mean that that's really how we are or how we're thinking at our core. So, sending so much love to you. Put your hearts in the chat for Kirsty, or your baby door emojis because we love a good baby door emoji. And let me just skip ahead a little bit on this as they
be telling kids that.
So Gabby, it seems like she is kind of dancing, kind of flirting with the idea of being sober, of getting sober. And she talks to Karen. Karen's like, what? You don't need alcohol. You're so fun. Girl, you are so fun. Oh my God, you are so fun. Are you serious? You care what people think? You care? Like, you just don't like dance? Like, girl, you don't need to drink. Some people need to drink. Brings up some people. I'm like, you need to get drunk, but not you, girl.
Because then I was like, I need to live. I need something to talk about. So I went to go see a past life therapist.
Hold on, my brain.
Because I'm like, I wouldn't gossip with Boston Rob if I wasn't 2 glasses of wine deep.
I don't fucking believe. And you know what? I would never have. Where were we at before that? So yeah, I tried to rip my braces off. I did that. I lived the life of like, do you know what I'm saying? So by the time I was 22, it isn't like I'm looking forward to turning 21 and going to the bar. I already lived it. I was in the gutter. So yeah, I didn't care anymore. So okay, but if I can't fucking have fun sober, there's no fucking point in being sober.
100%.
I had a very like transitional period of like, I don't know who the fuck I am. I cut my hair off. I dyed my hair dark. I only wore black and white. And I thought I needed to be, which fuck. But I got
She's wearing
butterflies.
black and white.
So I'm like, I only wear black and white and I didn't know who I was. And so I associated like, because I've always been like the loud one. I've always been the weird one. I've always been like, be quiet and blah, blah, blah. And it was almost like I then started associating that with like drug use and alcohol use. So I felt like I needed to like be a whole different person because that means that I'm like, I have to change everything about myself. And so I thought I had to change my personality too, because I blamed my personality on like drugs and alcohol. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I get sober and I'm like, I got to cut my hair. I got to dye it dark. I gotta
be
professional.
Live a little. Yes.
And I got to be like professional and I have to talk
professional.
Yep.
It would make me go the other way. Like maybe I should.
So Carolyn talking about this, it's interesting. It is an interesting conversation if you want to go back and listen to the whole thing. And also, you know, possible like self-medication. A lot of people, when you end up getting sober, you realize, oh shit, I drank so much and would get drunk before like going to parties and stuff, because the idea of showing up to like the social a gathering and I was having like legit panic attacks before going to these things, but everyone then thought you were the life of the party until you blacked out. Then they were like, get her out of here. But so there's so much that you do realize in sobriety about yourself and your past actions and why maybe you drank and why maybe you drank to excess, and why you could probably never have had a healthy relationship, just for myself, with alcohol. So that is very interesting.
Bendy, the third search down will be disabled.
No, mine too. Mine's
Somebody.
Okay.
But people
Well, here's where they talk about their mental health and people both questioning whether they are autistic. Okay.
or crackle my like because people would tease my voice. Or my faces. I didn't know that I looked like I had a stroke until
You
people,
don't.
I don't, but people will say that.
Yeah.
It's so if you didn't
Just because you make funny face, but same.
or she's autistic or something's wrong with her. What the
Yeah.
what's wrong with me?
No, literally. I had somebody, first of all, on Google right now. If you Google is Gabby windy, the third search down will be disabled.
No, mine too. Mine's either mentally ill, disabled, autistic.
Yes.
What is wrong with that was like the top search thing for me during Survivor is
Mhm.
what is wrong with Carolyn? Fucking nothing.
Have you never met somebody with the personality?
And that's
I'm
the
sorry,
truth.
who are you hanging out with?
It's the fucking truth.
Gabby you just need to have a book of all of these wonderful things and affirmations and things that she says. Like, have you never met a person with a personality? Yeah. I don't think a lot of people have.
So I got an email once on The Bachelor, and it was very like seemingly sweet, and she was like, "Thank you so much. My daughter also has a speech impediment." I don't. Yes, like what do you mean? Because I have a different kind of voice, and because maybe I speak at a cadence.
That happens to me. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Cadence? Because I do that too, where I'll be like, and I crack my voice. I don't have a soothing, cute voice, and I know that. I say that to my.
No, but I love it. Even like sometimes it's
Yours
like,
is soothing though.
oh my God, thank you. But even with yours, like at the end of every sentence, or like the drag queen, or you'll be like, at the end. But I love it.
And I don't know, like
It's
you don't know this
fun.
shit. But
That's when you realize, like, as you're older, like, oh, I've just been stimming my whole life. And people would come in my live streams. And I was diagnosed technically in my 20s, but the emphasis, they had a misdiagnosis of bipolar 2. And I was diagnosed by a guy that saw me for like 5 minutes and then never saw me again. And then when I finally was like questioning that after years of being misdiagnosed and put on Lamictal, a medication that was not helping me at all. And I really wasn't on any kind of ADHD medication. I went to another doctor when I moved to California, and he was like, no, you've never been bipolar. You don't have mania. You have ADHD. Like you have anxiety, you have depression. Like that's not, you don't have that. They, misdiagnosed you. But then finding out that, so when I would go live, as I'm kind of figuring out which medication works for me, Adderall never worked for me. I didn't do well with Adderall. And then I was able to find Vyvanse, and Vyvanse has worked for me. People would come on my YouTube channel in the comments. They'd be like, is this bitch just stimming? And I'm like, what are they talking about? Because I didn't even know what stimming was, because there was so little education. It was like, oh, you're ADHD. Okay. Do you want to take this or this? And I'm like, well, what does that mean? Because my understanding of ADHD was it's little boys in school who can't sit down and fidget and whatever. I didn't know that it represents and shows itself differently, like we talked about in women. So I was like, huh? And then learning about stimming and all these things, I'm like, yes, this explains so much of why my whole life I'm always saying these things and these songs, and the way that my brain remembers things, and the movement of my feet and the stuff that I have to play with, and just so much of it was like, oh, I'm stimming. But it took like assholes on the internet coming and being like, this bitch is just stimming. that mean? And I thought it was stemming for a while. And then I was like, oh, that's actually very common in women with ADHD. There's certain stims. I mean, there's lots of different ways that people can be stimming, but the way people are like, how do you remember like those songs and those catchphrases and those commercials from 1990 that you keep saying over and over again? It's like, bitch, because I've been stimming. I'm stimming. I am stimming, and I love it. Thank you so much for saying you like my earrings. Right? It's just like, what? Amy says, I realize now that my depression and anxiety stemmed from yes, that's exactly what mine is as well. And I was put on so many antidepressants and bipolar 2 medications. And I was like, how come it's not working? What's going on with my brain? What's happening? Hope says, I would love to have a Gab session about this. There are so many of us in here. Yes, we need to do that, Hope. We definitely need to do that. Pamela says, I was misdiagnosed with manic depression, same Z's, bipolar 2. Oh, they give you lithium. And it messed me up. Turns out they are finding now that so many women are misdiagnosed as bipolar 1 or bipolar 2 when they have ADHD. And that shit ain't the same. And the medications they give you for bipolar are not going to help you for ADHD. And not learning how your brain works so that you can have the best, most loving, wonderful, productive life, is not going to help you. Do I have a wiggle chair? Girl, you know I do. Girl, you know I do. Girl, in my legs and I'm hands and dancing and singing and all of that. All of that. Kirsty said, okay, maybe I stim. Well, I love to stim. I don't care. Make stimming wonderful again. I don't know when they ever kind of made it like that's a bad thing. What's wrong with stimming? What's wrong with that? Krista says, I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder a few months ago, and getting the right diagnosis to OMG changes your life to get. Yes, it does. It's life-changing. And it explains so much. Just however you decide, if you decide medication, all these things, just having a better understanding of yourself is so helpful. Amy says, I'm still taking Lexapro and my gut tells me I'm okay with it, but I'm scared to stop taking it. I take an antidepressant as well as my Vyvanse, and it's Prestique. And I've been on it for so long, but I had tried Lexapro and Lexapro wasn't great for me. And I've tried Zoloft and all the things, but I am terrified of getting off of it too, because it's not one of those things that you can just stop taking. You have to wean off of it, and you need a doctor to help you with that. Because anytime I've run out of my Prestique, it's very dangerous with some of these medications, because they can cause suicidal ideations and all kinds of things. That's, it's like, what's going on? What? Yes, they are. They have correlations to ADHD and restless leg syndrome, Pamela B. Definitely look into that, because I follow mostly now, accounts that talk about women with ADHD, and I read books about women with ADHD because that is, what is prevalent to me or relevant to me. And there's a lot of talk about restless leg syndrome and ADHD in women. So, Liz says, stimming is just your nervous system trying to regulate itself. Yeah, it's nothing to be ashamed of, but I think it can be one of those things that if you don't know what it is and you don't know why you're doing it, people are like, you're weird. Why you do that? Why you do this? And you're like, doesn't everybody? Don't you have to regulate your nervous system? Don't you? So you could just your body just creates dopamine. That's so weird. What? And when you learn about the dopamine, and it's just it's life-changing. And I feel like I'm still learning so much. Heather says, misdiagnosed as bipolar, severely depressed. OD, is that ADD or not ADD? Obsessive compulsive disorder? Borderline. You got misdiagnosed, all those. Every doctor said something different. Oh, so annoying. Having a doctor who actually listens, right? Because there are times that doctors they haven't seen you the amount of times you would think they'd need to see you to assess what you are. Sometimes they are, in certain situations, they are mandated. If you go to the hospital or something, it's kind of like they're mandated to diagnose you with something in order to move along into some kind of treatment. And it's unfortunate because they're seeing you at your worst, and they're seeing you so in such a short amount of time, and they're making such a huge diagnosis for the rest of your life without I think the proper amount of time. And that's, due to like, insurance companies, things like that. And so that you can go and get some kind of treatment and move along. Oh my God, body doubling is something I never really understood. But it has helped me getting tasks done. And just because that's the thing where I think that's what it is, right? Witness, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I'll like have my husband Chell, if there's a task that I just cannot do, let's say I like got a laundry, oh my God, it's crazy the amount of times I've rewashed the same load of clothes. And people are like, what's wrong with you? Just go change it. It's like, I wish my brain worked that way. So I literally will ask my husband, Cho, can you just stand next to me? You just be near me while I do this. And it just helps. And some people go, that's codependency. Well, not for ADHD people, not for the neurodivergent. It just helps having someone there, again, regulating possibly your nervous system. Life with Bear says, alcohol free 2 years after 12 rehabs. I'm so happy for you, Bear. Congratulations. That's amazing. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean if you have restless leg syndrome, obviously you're ADHD, but they do have a correlation to women with ADHD will, and I don't know if it's true for men as well, might also struggle with restless leg. Paul says, so many of these things could get diagnosed and addressed at school. It really could if we still had a Department of Education. Yeah, well, we see where that's going. Co-regulation. Is that what it's called, Evelyn? That's not. Is it co-regulation? Is that not body doubling? Co-regulation is when it helps me to have someone near me to get these things done. Like I said, I'm still learning at 45 years old about the way my brain works and all of these things that I've needed people like, you're codependent. Well, maybe a little, but also, when you come from a alcoholic family and you become an alcoholic yourself, yeah, you have a little codependence for sure. But also, finding out that many people with ADHD find that very helpful to have someone near them. Amy says, this is how I feel about getting my place organized. I feel like I just need someone here to help me. No one understands, right? That's why, especially ADHD people, this probably has more to do with like the deadline of it all and the dopamine it creates. But someone did a video, an ADHD creator, saying, if you want to help your ADHD friends, call them up and say you're going to be at their house in 30 minutes or an hour. They will clean the things they have been unable to clean and get the things done in their home that they've been unable to do, because it hits that like, oh shit. And then the dopamine hits like, I got to do this shit now. So you'll have the cleanest house. Like before people come to my house, they're like, wow, Nana just said to me, oh, you're so organized and so I'm like, not really. But when people are coming over, I hit that like day before, hours before, and I'm like cleaning like a fiend, the things I couldn't get done before. But I also have realized with having someone there with me and having just my husband there and we're both doing it together makes it a lot easier. Or if it's just a task that, just having him near helps. Thank you, Artist. Good to see you. Artist says, to all my fellow ADHD friends, we rock. We do. We're amazing. We work better under pressure as ADHD people. And we tend to then get into careers where like, you're going to do something closer to the deadline, which explains a lot why I chose journalism, because I wasn't going to work on the story weeks before, which makes it a lot more difficult. So hitting these deadlines, I would take it to the last. It was just called, I was just procrastinating. You need to change that about yourself. But literally was how my brain worked. Before then, I couldn't create any dopamine. I couldn't get myself to be interested in this task enough to do it. But when it came down to the wire, that's when it hit like, I need to do this now. So it's still to this day too, is planning my live streams. I'm like, boring. I don't want to do that. I just want to go live. Like maybe like an hour or two for like, I'm going to plan my live. So it is very outside of the way my brain works to set it up for every day at this time. We will go live and we will do that. At times it feels almost impossible. Roxanne Prestique too. Oh, do you like it? Let's see. Roxanne says, finding out so much from you today, Joleen. I feel bad. We're not even talking about this thing, but I think our conversation is more important, honestly, in my opinion. Hopefully you guys feel the same way. Roxanne says, I'm finding out so much from you today, Joleen. Misdiagnosed with bipolar. I would say go and, get an opinion, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. I understand that mental health insurance and, coverage. I think obviously I'm someone who thinks everyone should, health care should be a universal right. I think everyone should be allowed healthcare. And I'll pay for, you know what I mean? Like if that's where our tax dollars going to make sure that our fellow humans and fellow Americans are insured so that they can live the best lives they can. And so that they, healthcare should be like a basic right. So I wish it was that way. And I understand that not everyone has mental health benefits or health benefits. And that makes it 100 times harder. And I understand how lucky I am and how privileged I am to actually have insurance. So I speak from a place of privilege. I speak from a place of, having health insurance. And unfortunately, I wish that wasn't the case for everyone, that everyone could get out and get all the health care and all the tests and all the things so that they could live their best life. Pamela, thank you for the super chat. Pamela says, we see each other. Yes. And artists. We do. Mm-hmm. Hope says there's actually a self-hypnosis for organizing on YouTube that drop the link for that, Hope. It really helps me get past my ADHD to just get started. I've heard that if you treat the tasks and the chores like a game, some kind of game, that can be very helpful. So let's see. Amy says, I totally understand that about you, and I would be the same way. We're going to be here regardless. Thank you, Amy. I know you guys get me. Liz says, I really like the Jason Lewis Focus playlist on here. Oh, I'll have to check that out. I'm going to star that. Thank you, Liz, for telling us that. Let's see. Evelyn says, I wonder how much ADD, ADHD has a crossover with nervous system dysregulation. Yeah. Yes, and copays are outrageous. Yeah, drop any links you have that are helpful. That would be amazing. Chris says, I'm just so happy that I found you, Joleen, from Big Brother and this community. Y'all make me feel so seen. I'm so happy you feel that way, Carissa. I love that. I love it. I love it. So it's the Jason Lewis Mind Amend. The goat mix is my favorite. Oh, is it like the Severance goats? Très intéressant.
No,
People do. They think you're something you have.
Yeah.
I get it all the time. Like, here's my daughter. She's autistic. Thank you for being the voice. And I'm like, that's why I say I fucking wish at this point diagnose me so I can be the voice. But I don't want to misdiagnose. I'm not ashamed or embarrassed. Like, diagnose me. Anyway, I get it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I did all the work. I did all and I was like, fuck this. And I learned how to love myself because again, I've always had that shit where people point. So I get really pissed off. I do when people are like, get some confidence or do. No, I fucking do. I know who I am. I just, shit still hurts me. And it takes me a minute to get back on course. But when it comes to the fucking fun, fuck that. Was it hard at first? Yeah, I didn't go to weddings and start dancing, or I didn't go to, because that's the thing too. I had to separate. I couldn't go to bars and blah, blah, blah right away.
That's I'm like, well, my social life go down the drain but it's also annoying. And that's how it is kind of being gay too, is you're so focused on how the other person's going to feel. I'm like, are they going to feel weird if I order a Diet Coke? But actually it's after one glass of wine, I'm tired anyway. My brain's slow. I'm not on it. This is only fun for you.
You got to be selfish. And I learned that. And this is the thing. And I that's why, again, even on Traitors, I don't give a fuck. I can remember we went down and it was before a mission and we're waiting and everyone was sitting on the couches by the pool table or whatever over there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. And then people are piling and sitting on each other's laps. I'm like, fuck
so
that.
Weird.
So I go and I sit all by myself over and Dylan's like, are you okay over there? I'm fucking fine. I was crying about something, but I was.
This is why I can't hate Carolyn, because that's so relatable to me. I'm fucking fine. I'm just gonna go sit over there away from the group. I was fine. I was fucking crying about something. That to me is so fucking relatable to my life. When she says stuff like that, I feel like these kind of people who are just living their life as they are and being themselves and telling the truth about themselves do more good than they realize in just making you feel, people are saying in the chat, making you feel seen, because I don't know how many times being real. Yes, Otter. How many times I've been like, I'm just gonna go sit over here, and I can't be around that whole group and everything, and I'm fine. I mean, I was crying. I did just like at a comedy show have like a full meltdown, breakdown by myself in a stall in the bathroom, but here I am, you know.
But I'm like, I'm fucking fine. I don't need to like be in. I'm not gonna be fucking half my ass off a chair just so I can look like I'm a part of a group. I'm not, and I don't care.
That's what I'm leaning into too.
And
Like it's because I'm afraid people will think I'm antisocial or people will think I'm a bitch or something. But it's like now I actually want to have a reason to be a bitch.
Please
push me the wrong way. I don't want because it's just better for me. I don't
it's
like
better for your mental health. It's better for your like. I don't give a fuck. I hurt night, but I feel like people think that I'm way more fucking like self-conscious and than I am. I'm not.
No, I actually think it's confident. Like, I love that you're like, this hurt my feelings because you should be able to say that like to your friends and every little thing instead of like harboring it.
And I don't.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that too is like my crying and my over emotion because I used to hold it all in. When I got sober, I said, I will never fucking do that again. And I don't. And I won't. And I think even at the wrong time, I'm like, and I'll not cry as much. And I'm like, actually, I'll cry more because like, fuck you. That's my trauma talking. Let it. And I'm not going to let them know. I'm not holding it in, whether it's a game or not. So I learned how to have fun sober. And I did that by fucking just, again, it's awkward. You think, can I get up or no?
Right. Right now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
please.
Am I able?
Yeah. Do you want to go shopping?
That's also very like, can I get up? Can I stand up? Can I move? Can I do these things? You know, I can't just sit here the whole time. I got to get silly with it, which is why I got the standing desk. So Carolyn is standing up now and I get it. And I think this is, someone asked if she's wearing pants. I think this is like a little dress outfit, maybe with a little short underneath. I'm not sure.
Yeah. See, oh, here we go.
He was like, you dance to the beat of your own drum.
Oh yeah.
And because I was dancing and I don't know how to fucking dance.
Yeah.
And that's the point is I do this thing and I told him I let the.
Wait, you were talking to Robin Thicke? Or
she's passed away now, but
oh my God,
was sleeping with Lil Bow Wow. She's a lesbian. But
okay.
So if you guys can't hear, she's talking about her friend, and they were somewhere, and Robin Thicke is there, and they're talking or something, and she's like, she's a lesbian, but she was dancing with Robin Thicke or something, and now she's passed away or something.
See, this is what I'm saying. How can you do that sober?
And I was so
doing a little dance.
So and that's the thing we would do. She was my best. Like we would do crazy, freaky, and people would think we were fucked up, but like,
yeah,
no, we're not. What's up, Bow Wow? So
she said, "What's up, Bow?" So I guess she was hanging out with Bow Wow too.
Doesn't matter. We would. Okay. So I would be like dancing, and he's like, "You dance to the beat of your own drum," and I'm like, "I'm just letting the music take control of my body."
So Robin Thicke says, "You dance to the beat of your own drum," and she said, "I'm just letting the music take control of my body."
And I can't do that. Like, I didn't just right away go into places and like it took practice.
Yeah,
I'm not
right.
a good dancer, and I'm even now. I thought I'd be able to do some moves. It's not.
Both types are
I
cute.
Too much pressure.
I
Yes.
do it. And so that's my point. Is I just slowly ease my way in, and now here's what I've realized: people will stare, and people will. This is what I tell people that I even like meet with me on my sessions and shit. When I go into places, because if I go in, and I am all over the place, because like, girl, I don't fucking look at people, because if I give myself a moment, I'm gonna start like looking at you, and I'm gonna be like, let's say you're like and looking me up and down. I'm gonna be like, did I wear something wrong, or why are they looking at me, or what did I do, or I'm ugly, or
no, it makes you so insecure. I feel like it's also just like being a woman.
Yes.
I'm like, what are you judging me
What
for?
do you
Why?
yes.
Yeah.
So I don't fucking do that anymore. I don't look at anybody, and I walk in, and I tell people, and it helps that I'm tall, but I walk in, I look straight ahead, and because I don't want anyone to stop and talk to me. Yeah. So I'm like, fuck off. But I walk in straight ahead, and then I don't give myself the opportunity to like create dialogue in my head of like, what's going on, and they don't like me. I don't fucking care, and I'm walking in.
Yeah.
Same thing with dancing. I'm gonna go out on that fucking dance floor because I like to dance. Truly, like it is fun.
Oh, did you not learn nothing as a stripper?
Girl,
you didn't learn how to dance?
I was awful, and I did not even know how to dance in heels, and I'd flip them off, but you have to fucking have heels on. I literally quit though as soon as they made me like fill out like a social security. Like,
yeah.
Because they're legit. You are actually a worker.
Oh yeah, you signed that W-2.
And I'm like, I can't have my because I had a fucking fake name, Annika McCormick.
I love it.
What was it, Annika McCormick? What was her stripper name?
They're legit. You are actually a worker.
Oh yeah, you signed that W-2.
And I'm like, I can't have my because I had a fucking fake name, Annika McCormick.
Annika McCormick.
Love it. Yes, I love it.
Why would I have like a fucking but McCormick?
I know, that was very thought out. I went into a Hooters once in college because we have like the same thing going on, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, obviously I want to make money. The uniform's iconic. I went in to apply, and like there were so many men there like breaking their necks already. Yep. And I walked out crying. I'm like, I cannot, but like I wish I did.
No, you don't. Because you have years of trauma, and you probably would have become addicted to drugs. So you don't, because it really, and that's the type of shit. That's why like people will joke like do an OnlyFans or do a hell no. That's why I don't like do the stuff that I do anymore. And I take like, sex so seriously, or I take sometimes. And then I don't fucking, because that was a lot of trauma.
Carolyn with her whisper, sometimes like, when she's like, that's why I take sex so seriously. They don't do that stuff. They take sex so seriously. Sometimes it's almost like that little truth, thing. A lot of comedians will do that. Louis Anderson used to have that where he'd be like talking to someone. He's talking about his parents and he would like be, do these little voices. It just to me tickles me. But yes, Carolyn said on this podcast, I think she said she went into stripping when she was like 16 or something. And her and Gabby both talked about, thinking about doing that. And then Carolyn, obviously now being sober, she's like, no, I don't want to do that. But at the time that was something, that she did.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good at the end of the day. And it's crazy too, because my boobs are fake and I'll always have them out, but I get mad if people look.
I know. Well, no, I know. But don't you look at them? No, because you got them for you and not everyone else. And
that's true.
Everyone's like, Dylan's biceps are taking up all the real estate. I'm like, what about Carolyn's tits?
Like, no, I'm so sick of people. Wasn't he a heartthrob? I'm sorry. I'm like, I don't look, and I don't.
So this, whatever Carolyn's saying a few times in this podcast, Gabby mutes it and then does a like this goes on for a while. I have this sped up to 1.2. Alexandra, thank you for the super chat, says I would highly recommend The Myth of Normal by Dr. Gabor Mate, or any of his other works. I'm going to star that too. He is an angel on this earth. I am going to look that up, Alexandra. Thank you. I love a good recommendation for a book, a playlist, a channel, a content creator regarding this stuff. I love it. Hey, producer Cordy. So obviously, like, this goes on
10 times more.
Hold on.
Like, we
True.
have to look good. We have to get our hair done, and we have to have a personality, and we have to go through years of trauma.
No, it's true. It's fucking true. So be glad you weren't fucking hooting around, which I don't even know how. I don't even know.
She said hooting around. Be glad you didn't work at Hooters and you were hooting around. As someone who used to run a comedy show in the Hooters on Hollywood Boulevard, the women deserve a better place. Hooters are, it's dirty. Could be that it's on Hollywood Boulevard, but it's just like a trashy restaurant. No offense, all offense.
So that place is still fucking in business and they still have that?
No, my friend's boyfriend just went for lunch the other day.
Why?
For lunch.
Why?
You can't tell me their chicken wings are that good.
No, they're not. It's gross. And I don't even know. Are strip clubs still in business?
Yeah. Oh my God, totally. Which it's like to each their own. I am very pro sex work. I think they need to be regulated. They're the original minors.
It's
They
hard
work in with
though.
men. They need to be unionized because the canary is singing. They need to be protected.
It's too hard. Like,
right,
again,
but it can't. I mean, I want to have a sex worker on so bad just to like get like their thought process and stuff.
I don't want to.
Oh my God, Gabby, you could get there's so many women that would come speak to you, or men.
Judge that all of them have trauma and are fucked up and not making their own choices. But like, yeah, for me, I'm like, I can't. And it did fuck me up and it did make me feel like, what the hell? So okay, where was it going with this? So yeah, fuck, you don't want to. But again, some people can do that. And then I was not, I became addicted. Yeah. So learning how to do this shit sober, you have the best personality. Are you like drunk or high right now? No. Like you unless you were fucking.
You have the best personality. Are you like drunk or high right now? Gabby's like, no.
Doing shit before, like you. And not a lot of people have that, okay?
Yeah.
Where you can just fucking talk and be fun and funny. You don't, I'm shocked.
I was never really funny when I was drunk. I just wasn't. I didn't make sense, or I feel like I was mean or just stupid. I'm 100% funnier sober. And but you don't know when you're drunk. You're like, I'm fucking so funny. And then you're like, you look back and people tell you what you see. You're like, that wasn't really funny.
That you feel this way.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like, even like going out and like, I have said this so many times. It feels so good to be able to be this freaky and be sober. And people like keep questioning if I'm on drugs.
Yeah.
I love it, but it didn't happen overnight. It comes with like just not giving a fuck. I'm going to go dance. I'm going to go, but I don't go and look at the reaction of other people because I know what they're probably looking like. They're probably side-eyeing me. They're probably like, what the fuck? I don't care.
But it's just because they're jealous. They wish they could do that. It's like when I see people literally being able to enjoy themselves like at a concert or really dancing, like being like so freaky. I'm like, I wish.
I'm shocked. I'm having a hard time believing this.
I know you're giving me a lot of confidence. I think it's like what would other people
minors, like job minors, not minors, not like minor kids. No. She doesn't mean it like that. She means like MINERS, the original minors. I think she was speaking on it from an occupation on because she told him to unionize and stuff. She wasn't talking about like minor. Yeah, she was saying minors, not minors. Because I was like, why does witness think that's bad? No. Don't misinterpret that. No. Liz says the drinking is for you, so you feel better about yourself or more comfortable. Yep, in your body. But you are already funny, and people are so sweet of you. But yeah, the drinking is more of a self-medication thing and thinking like you need that sort of thing. Yeah, not like age minors, but like
think not just like of me, but I don't know, like would they feel like bad for me or think something of me? But like I didn't even know like when you told people whatever on the Cassie or sober, we didn't drink that much, but it was never, I'm like, oh, Carolyn's just always having a good time. Like same. I'm like, okay. But then some people are like, I'm sober. And I'm like, you must have really been through it.
Yeah,
but it's
girl.
like the way you talk about it and the way you carry it. You know, you just like don't even think twice. You're just like, I don't drink. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Like, and it's nothing. But again, it's all it takes. And it's like you teach people how to treat you and not all of them listen. But I had that awkwardness or people where I would think like, oh, and I will tell people like, I don't give a shit if you're drinking. I don't want you sloppy. I don't want to be around that if you're like falling on me and shit.
Right.
But again, I know how to excuse myself. I know when but I don't. It was never fun for me. And I think like growing up, being a drunk, like, but growing up,
it's 13 when I realized I had a problem.
That sounds terrible.
I started drinking at 13. I was throwing up out of my nose.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I have memories like that too, where it's like, and we think it's like normal, or I did at least.
No, same. It's the Midwest or something. I don't know what went wrong, but I assume everyone was like that, but I guess not.
No. And it's like,
same,
we're going to go, we went through a breakup or something and let's go out and like party and celebrate. And I would be that one, like puking on the floor in the bathroom stall, crying, like going through a breakup, like, let's go celebrate and like get over it.
Yes.
No, I would feel like shit because alcohol's a fucking depressant. I never felt better. So if you're having those feelings, like I always have said, like, what does alcohol like do for you? What does it? Okay, it
makes me a little more uninhibited or inhibited. And that's another thing. It's like, if we're going to go out for a drink and have fun, I'm afraid other people are already thinking that I can't have fun. So then I think about it like that. I know I take everything on, internalize it, personalize it, project it, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
I'm shocked.
I know.
You don't like,
no, because if everyone's sober, then it's like whatever. But then, and it kind of depends. I don't know. I think I need to change, obviously, my mindset, because I really do.
You're funner than, is that not a word? You're funner.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like,
no,
you're more fun than I'm again, I'll get over it, but I'm shocked that you ever even had these thoughts. You don't need any fucking like, are you kidding me?
No.
You like,
Carolyn's like Gabby's hype woman. Like, are you fucking what? I'm shocked. You don't need alcohol, girl. You are so fun. She's got the Lala finger guns coming out. Like, she's serious. We'll skip ahead just a little bit because they do go on for a bit about this.
And stop and whatever. I am able to
drinking every night.
Well, that was an important little side that they talked about is, Gabby, again, it's not like I'm drinking every night. And I understand that a lot of people think that means that there's a problem. But again, we talk about this, a lot with functioning alcoholism and the definition of alcoholism and how if you're an alcoholic, and it's not necessarily that you're drinking every night and you can't stop. And I think there's just not enough conversations about the different types of alcoholism. And we have like that one Lifetime movie version of where you're like down in the gutter and you're like slap somebody and you're like, and you're arrested. And there's so many people that will never do any of those things, but are still alcoholics.
But it's like,
really, there are so many people who fucking
claim that I only talk shit. People are like, I didn't know this was serious. I'm like, how is this not serious?
Yeah.
Plus, I think it's fun to kind of have one enemy. I want to have a frenemy.
Yeah.
Only at the Lakers game.
I think now they're going to be talking about the Traitors. And when they are when they were all there for the reunion and the events they did as a group.
And I say things that to Wes that I didn't even think was bad that get around. So imagine the shit I was saying to Boston Rob that if I don't know what happened at the Lakers game, but somebody in particular might not be happy with me.
Ooh.
I only talk shit. People are like, I didn't know this was serious. I'm like, how is this not serious?
Yeah,
Plus,
fuck.
I think it's fun to kind of have one enemy. I want to have a frenemy.
Yeah, fuck it. Who cares? And Boston Rob talks so much shit.
I know.
He
I'm like,
loves it.
he loves, and he was laughing at every single thing. And I'm like, no, you're encouraging me at this point. You're egging me on, and I'm taking the bait, and I'm taking it.
He's fucking fun.
He's so fun.
And I didn't, again, because I did judge him and all that bullshit, because I do that, even though I don't like to be judged, and none of us do. But he's fun, and he's not even, and it's not one of those things either. I don't even notice it. Well, I do notice when he's been drinking, but I'm saying like there's not like he needs some alcohol in him to be fun. Same with, like there are people who like please drink. He's got a good personality. Yes.
Yeah. No, I know. I keep talking about him at home because I'm like, babe, you'll never believe. Like, so much fun. And Robbie's like, is he married? I'm like, he's married with kids. He's like, do you like him? And I'm like, stop. She like, because me, you, and him took a picture.
So even Gabby's wife is like, do you have a crush on Boston Rob? Because we know Gabby just got married. Congratulations, Gabby and Robbie.
At the reunion, and she zoomed in on him. She's like, do you? I'm like, oh my God, not Boston Rob.
People have been talking about him.
No, they love him and Jeremy. I'm like, oh my God. Okay, I'm like, people are going to want to know about the Traitors. But I feel like, wait, what else is there? I mean, I'm trying to think.
Okay, you see how Carolyn's like she doesn't necessarily want to talk about the Traitors or something.
It's like, do you? I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, people are going to want to know about the Traitors. But I feel like, wait, what else is there? I mean, I'm trying to think.
Can I say this?
Yeah.
Or is this too, you talk shit though?
I talk so much shit. Yeah.
I'm so over it. Here's the deal too, because I was like, because I said to Chriselle, are we bringing this up at the reunion? Are we bringing, and I came ready, like, we're going to talk about, and I'm not kidding you. And I don't know if that's just like being a healthy person. Or,
I wouldn't know.
Or like journaling, or maybe like my therapy. I don't know, but I was just, because that's how I do things, where I fucking cry. I like, fuck you. And I have my moment. It's true. And then I'm like, I wake up. And I was like, okay. And then I forget and I'm done. But it does. I have a meltdown.
Yeah.
And then a few days later, or a week.
I'm the same. Because you're a Capricorn.
Yeah.
And me and Boston Rob.
He is too.
Isn't that crazy? And I feel like we were all pretty good and like play, like, you know, kind of similar. I'm like, this makes so much sense. But same, I'm sensitive.
I'm sensitive as shit. And I can't stand people, and I want to talk shit.
Yeah.
But then it's like, all right, I'm done. And I felt like with Danielle, it's like beating a dog, like a dead dog or something.
Yeah.
I'm not calling Danielle a dog. I'm saying like,
no,
it's not fun anymore to be like, this has crossed the line into like, I'm over it. I'm just done. So I did come prepared. But what was the question? What were we?
Okay, so this is, I talked about this a couple days ago. I think I saw this clip of Carolyn talking about the kind of Danielle hate isn't fun anymore. And we have talked about this, that I felt like it was something Carolyn should have probably spoken up about a while back, because the Danielle hate was just like compounding and it was becoming so much. And I feel like the more interviews Carolyn did where she was saying like Danielle was a monster, or like making that comparison, people were like, oh yeah. And then it's really like, what did Danielle do that made her a monster? Nothing. You can say you didn't like the way she played. You can say you hated that she got rid of your faves. You can say you didn't like the overacting. That's fine. But Danielle has been sharing in her stories, like people who are actually threatening her and leaving her like horrendous messages. She's actually providing proof. We see so many of these reality people go, people are threatening my life. And you're like, okay, well, like a lot of people say that when really they're just people messaging them, wanting accountability for their actions. But Danielle has been kind of responding and putting these people on blast when they send really disgusting messages. Also, whoever came up with that saying, beating a dead dog or beating a dead horse, like why would you beat them anyways? And why dead? And you're like, then it's not funny. But when was it ever fun to beat? I don't know the origin of that saying, but it's gross when you think about it. I know it's like second nature for a lot of us because we've heard it so many times. But when she's like, it's not fun anymore, it's like, when was it ever fun to hate on Danielle?
What are you saying? I don't even. Oh, you were like, Chriselle, are we going to talk about this?
Talk about all this bullshit at the thing. And I was just over it.
Yeah, the reunion was not it.
But
everyone looked incredible, chic as fuck. Dolly Parton chic. You looked amazing. And there's rumors that she has full sleeves, which is why she's always in long sleeves.
No way.
And she's gay.
I did not know that.
Yes. No, like you are. And she's a Capricorn.
I had no
Oh my
idea.
God.
Well,
you are Dolly Parton inhabited.
I go, make me look like a drag queen. That's what the style. And I had someone who like does make it for RuPaul's Drag Race. So I'm like the most like girl.
You didn't look drag.
A little, those because like I looked in the mirror and I did feel a little like girl. It
No,
was.
because drag is the eyebrows. I could not take my eyes off Bob the drag queen's eyebrows. I'm like,
I made them fix them. They were fucking weird at first.
Yours?
Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was like, girl,
Mhm.
it was. So whatever. But Dolores, can I say
Yeah.
it good?
Yeah.
I was very shocked. Are we not allowed to talk shit on here? We can?
No, yes, of course.
So Dolores was saying that people are like saying like how dumb she is online about moves.
Oh.
Here's all I'm going to say about this. I just didn't think that the housewives, any housewife,
Yeah.
I thought that they were, and this is maybe a judgment, I thought that they were so used to people talking shit about them
Yeah.
that they
would-
didn't read it or they didn't. I had no idea somebody
Mhm.
like Dolores, because
Anyone who knows Dolores, though, it is one of those things that's like, oh, if you watch their season, it's like if you've gotten to know Dolores through the Housewives, she always finds, she's a Capricorn. This is so crazy.
many
She
Capricorns?
always finds a way to kind of, she's loyal as fuck. One, so Danielle sunk her claws into her
Yeah.
early, and then she like couldn't, because even she probably, and she just didn't want to be there. She was like, please, like every other second, she was like, send me home, murder me. It was a lot of work. So like, I don't think she was as invested, but she somehow kind of always removes herself from, she's not going head to head with people.
Well, she was just saying or talking about comments online. And this
Mhm.
is where, do you search your name or search what people are
Fuck
saying?
no.
So no, let me say it. So,
Yeah.
so with her, I can't be trusted with these. I didn't think the housewives gave a fuck. Like, cause I don't search my name because it's way too much trauma. But like, and I don't know like the things
Yeah.
that are saying.
No,
and blah,
she
blah,
was
blah.
telling me about Reddit while we were filming what they were saying. Yeah, because they had a really crazy season. But what were you going to say? I keep interrupting.
I'm just shocked that the house, and I'm saying,
So a little bit of tea on Dolores here. I did not know Dolores wanted to leave the game and was like quitting. We do know that Dolores, if you're a Housewives fan, and obviously Real Housewives of New Jersey, Dolores is loyal, but loyal to a fault. I mean, the Teresa friendship, her ex-husband is so lucky. Dolores is so loyal and so cool because they made it almost like he was somehow like this fun guy. And no, what I forgot his name, but they always try to make the New Jersey housewife or house husband seem fun. And I'm like, no, they're just as problematic as the rest, especially that disbarred ex-husband of hers who cheated on her while she was pregnant and has a very interesting relationship with all the women. And you can see by his own daughter, the way she interacts with him, that he's a man baby. And Dolores is very protective of him. And I get that, she's probably doing that in a large way because it's the father of her children and she wants her children to have the best relationship with them. But honestly, you can do everything as a woman, I feel like, but the kids will get old enough to see who their father really is. And it does look like Dolores's daughter, who seems amazing, a vet, not a veteran, but a veterinarian. She has seen through her dad. And I love that for her. And I hate that for her, that's who is her dad. Bells London says, love this. Love you right back. 10 years sober. Wait, that's amazing. After 10 years of trying, diagnosed 4 years ago, OMG, women, hormones, and addiction. Wow. Am now an advocate for all the above. I started the first ADHD AA in UK. That's, I didn't even know. That's how stupid I am. Like, or how uninformed I am. I didn't even know there was an ADHD AA. But when I got sober, I was still misdiagnosed bipolar. I was still diagnosed ADHD, but the emphasis was always on the bipolar too. So that would have really helped me in my recovery, I think. Frank Catania. Yes, Miss T. Thank you, Frank. Like gyros. Chickenhead. Thank you for the super chat. Chickenhead. PK. Dorkface nearly says, girl. So we're learning that about Dolores, and we're learning that Dolores is all over the Reddit reading the comments. But I'm not necessarily surprised. I know the housewives do that. And I think coming off of her last season and us not knowing what the future of Real Housewives of New Jersey is going to be, she was probably reading into a lot of that stuff. So basically, I mean, they all care. They all care.
I'm using her as a representation of them all. I have no idea. But I just thought people who had been on a show like the Housewives didn't give a fuck about.
Yeah, because you have to not give a fuck if you're on the Housewives. But the thing is that I do feel like the online culture and like whatever, it makes it less fun because you don't know, you have to be so safe. You don't know what people are going to drag you for, even though it's like, it just shouldn't matter. Like, not obviously it shouldn't matter, but it's like, it doesn't have to be personal.
And Dolores, that's what is like very like puzzling to me because I'm like, who the fuck? Like, again, if this is a TV show.
Yeah.
And people like, do we really give a shit about, I guess there's certain types of people who are watching for the strategy. Are they? This is entertainment.
Right.
And that's it. So like, I told her, who gives it? Like, you're not a strategist. It's like, you don't need to be.
Right. And like, you need them all. Obviously, it's creating conversation. When something makes you feel something, that's art. They're feeling something from Dolores.
Exactly.
Put it in your book, Gabby.
Artistic.
It's fucking true. So like, girl, I was shocked. I'm like, you're reading this shit?
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
But everyone, but like the reason, whatever. It's like, yeah, all her fans, but it's like, if you're her true fan, they're not going to turn on you now.
Like,
and literally, it's a game. This is the most innocent game. Nobody's going to be like, you were bad on Traitors.
That's what they're saying. She said they're, yeah. And I'm like,
No,
you
who
give a fuck?
cares?
I was like,
Yeah.
give a fuck that they say you're bad?
Literally. Like,
I'm
how is
shocked.
that supposed to get to me?
Please. But yeah, like, I'm not a housewife and I have no idea.
I know. Let's see if I have any other Traitor related questions.
But I'm over it too, to be honest.
I know.
I am. It's just not. Do you get recognized everywhere you go? How do you handle that?
I mean, you too.
And again, I'm not like I'm not a celebrity. I don't think of myself.
She says, do you get recognized everywhere you go? How do you handle that?
As I don't.
I call myself a D-list.
Are you D?
Yeah,
then I'm like,
probably.
I'd say like Z.
No,
So, like,
we're both
girl,
D-list.
Girl, I'm not on the same level as you yet. I'm trying.
No, stop.
I got to get more followers.
You're an icon.
I've gained a lot of followers since
Yes,
this,
fuck yeah.
but I am going to. Good. I'm not trying to grow, but I don't like the attention.
It makes me nervous that too many people like me now.
Really?
Now after last episode, we're recording early at the round table now, but it's like, because I want an equal amount. I want the people who don't get it not to get it. I want to piss off the right people, literally the right and the right. But it's like, if too many people like me, they're going to be disappointed.
Same. And I think that's an important thing that you learn. I saw Gabby talking about this as she grows and becomes more popular. And Gabby really has become like the breakout star for the Traitors. And being so afraid that you're going to have to compromise your belief system or your integrity or your morals and stuff to kind of adhere to this larger audience. And again, I've seen that happen. I've seen content creators, comedians and stuff lean into this right-wing grift that I'm just not going to do. I've seen content creators pretend everything is fine when our country is on fire. And I'm not going to do that and not talk about it and not talk about the toxicity within our administration. That's just not what I'm not going to pretend that doesn't exist. I'm still going to roast. I'm still going to make fun of it. And I'm going to have an opinion about it. But I've seen comedians go like full Trump, full MAGA, and they're making bank and their audiences are growing. But at what cost? That's what I always think. And we've had this conversation before. So I totally get what Gabby is saying here. And obviously her audience is huge. But that's when I bring this quote up again. Anything you lose by speaking your truth isn't a loss. It's an alignment. And I think that not to be all like, look at me, I got all the, words of encouragement and affirmation. But it is true. I would rather have the people who truly get me and get this, find me and be a part of this rather than just trying to get to some kind of, generic, general, just for more numbers. It's less about a numbers, race, the same. Even though I will be like, we're on our way to 50K, we're far from 50K. So I can have those goals, but also accepting that how I am, I'm not, I don't know a better word. I'm not generic enough. I'm not general enough. I am very opinionated. I do share a lot. I might not be the most marketable for some places, but that's always how I've been. And at 45, I'm definitely not going to sell out now. And that's how I felt living in LA too. It's like, it's not worth it to me. I'm not there in my 20s where I'm like, okay, yeah, I can forego my feelings and morals and integrity because yay, money, followers. But to me, it's not worth it because to have the wrong type of people following you and putting that into your community, I think is, you're not doing a service to your subscribers and the people who are there and supporting you. By going, I just need to get more numbers. It's a big reason why I can't, always follow every trending story, because if I don't believe it's necessarily in my heart to do it, I'm not just going to do it because it's going to bring numbers. Now, I say that with also understanding I am a content creator and a comedian, and I am going to talk about trending things and stuff like that, but I'm not. So in a way, I'm a hypocrite, but also in a way, I know my limits and I just am not going to go, yay, go watch Candace Owen if you want no. I'm always going to say no. Mm-mm. So I do feel like a sense of responsibility, but not that I'm anything or anyone, but I also realize that it's like jokes and we're, comedy and things, but there are just certain things that I'm not going to do just to get ahead, as they say. And certain groups, I'm not going to go decide like, no, I'm just going to shit on trans people because that seems to be the cool thing to do. Like, I'm not going to shit on marginalized groups so I can get more followers or more money. I think I wants to do that, but you see people doing that and growing, but at what cost and what kind of audience are you actually retaining and having? Like, so many people come over here and they realize, oh my God, you're not neutral. I'm not neutral, bitch. I've never been neutral. Call me neutral. That's an insult. I would rather be anything but neutral. I'm not neutral. No, because I live in this world and these things. So I would prefer, for the people that get it, find me. So I understand so much what Gabby's saying here. And she's like, I want the right people and I want to piss off the right. I feel the same way. I see you, but I can't imagine the amount of pressure that's on her as she grows and her brand grows and she's doing brand deals and she's all these opportunities. And it's like, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to get there? And also like, I love that she put out on her Instagram, you're following me, but just know that you might not necessarily like what you see. Because Gabby shits on Elon Musk, Gabby shits on Trump, Gabby shits on the patriarchy, as she should, as any good American should, in my opinion. Graphic says, thank you, Graphics, for the super chat. That's why we love you and how supportive you are for small businesses. I will support. If I stop supporting small businesses, somebody come and they took over my brain. They took over my body. The aliens have gotten into me. Okay. They have Stepford wives, my ass. And yeah. And that's what, Joe Rogan and them, they completely went from one way. He was like very progressive, Bernie. And then all of a sudden jumped in the MAGA cult. And now these podcasters and comedians who have far bigger careers than I'll ever have in my life are allowing people to go on their platforms with having zero sense of responsibility. And they'll say, I'm just comedians, but you're a comedian who has gotten into the political game and you're allowing people on your platform to spit things and that aren't true, that these big, huge untruths, and they go unchecked. And I just imagine like the Bill Hicks, the George Carlins rolling over in their grave going, this is what comedy has devolved into? These fucking simp men, with some of them like, can you remember a Joe Rogan joke? I mean, I know it's cool and everyone's like, they want to go on Rogan. For me, I'm like, no, Sankey. No, Sankey. Because they have these huge shows and these big platforms where they allow these people to come on and just lie. And it's like they have no responsibility at all or understand like how big their platform is. And there's no pushback. It's insane. Like blatant conspiracy theories that they're not even checking as a conspiracy theory or something that is fake news, as they say, and checking it to be like, that shit's fake news. And look at the damage it's done. Their platforms are so huge. And now you have people believing things that are, it's insane, and not trusting, they're trusting like a Joe Rogan or a Theo Vaughn or an Andrew Schultz or I'm just trying to think of the people who have had like politicians on with very little pushback. And allowed them to, or, people with political agendas it's crazy to me. It's crazy. So that whole group of people that have done that. And again, they're more successful than I'll ever be in my whole life, but it's just, what are you willing to do? Just with like Joe Rogan, he went from literally being like, I'm for trans rights, I'm fucking universal healthcare, Bernie Sanders, progressive, like I'm a progressive, people live and let live, like hell yeah, everyone deserves healthcare, to now, MAGA, how do you, I see how you could be, feel disconnected from the Democrats because they're no prize. But how do you go from a progressive like AOC, Bernie Sanders, and praising them to MAGA cult and spreading misinformation in the name of this man, of this billionaire or these billionaires and oligarchy. That shit, that goes against everything I thought comedy was, of speaking truth to power. And that doesn't mean you have to be liberal to be a comedian, but that means you should question things and not buy into a cult and not use a large platform to allow misinformation to go unchecked. That's crazy to me. Evelyn, thank you for the super chat. Evelyn says, we all love that you have integrity and live your values, Jolene. That is really nice of you to say, Evelyn. I appreciate that. Yeah, Liz says, success with integrity does not equal a bunch of money in capitalism. It doesn't. If I today was like, I'm mega and you guys and women for Trump, and if I jumped on the right-wing grift, it would be so much money. I don't care. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to sell myself for that. That's no thank you. And sell my fellow women down the river for what? For fans who will just leave me the first the first time they see me have a point that goes against their cult leader. The first time I speak up a little too much. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Dreadful says the right-wing grift is easy because those types of people listen to that constantly so they can rage. Yeah, because they have conditioned people to do that, from Fox News to now all the content creators. That's why there's so many more, it seems like, right-wing, like grifter type content creators. And their voice is so loud because the left really hasn't found the left is seen as like legacy media or, the network, but it's not, that they're not even progressive. If you look like a CNN or an MSNBC or whatever they be talking about, there are quite a few progressive creators out there, but they haven't had the success and haven't been able to use their platform the way the right has, in a way that's good, because you see kind of the misuse of their platform and just the dangerous misinformation they're putting out there and what they're willing to do. But I do think that if progressives want to get and be able to talk to the Americans, whether you voted for Trump or not, and you want to have these real conversations about, hi, are we like, kind of like Bill Burr's doing, like, I don't give a fuck, but we shouldn't be fighting with each other. The comedian Bill Burr I was so happy he didn't go down the Rogan route, because I was like, or the Chappelle always talking about trans people route. He's like, no, as Americans, we should be fighting with each other and letting these billionaires slide. Like, why are you simping for billionaires? Like that laminated face loser, Elon Musk. Like, what is going on here? It's pretty clear what's happening. But any pushback on Elon Musk, you're seen as hateful. I had a man say that to me recently. Like Elon Musk? I'm like, no, like, you're hateful like that Whoopi Goldberg. I was like, what? Like that Whoopi Goldberg? Ooh, burn, But it's like, okay, thanks. Christina says the Dems have lost me. Problem is, other side is, I know. The Dems have lost a lot of the Dems, and they haven't figured out a way to really harness the disenchantment and anger that the U.S. feels within the two-party system. Trump was able to do that, but with it was fake news on his part, because it was all propaganda, and really he was just there for the oligarchs, and he's just going to come in and let some guy from South Africa that came over here illegally, allegedly, according to his brother, and come in and create a job for him within Doge, and then go, yeah, come and rip apart all of these American systems. Like someone said today, I forgot who it was, they were saying, can you imagine if Obama did that? If Obama was like, yeah, I'm going to just let my African friend come in who's unelected and he's going to like take money from Social Security, and he's got a whole department he's working on to find money and to find misuse of money. Yeah, and he's a billionaire, and how he's gotten to be a billionaire is not paying taxes and stuff like that and using the American people. But yeah, he's going to come in, he's going to can you imagine? It's crazy. We went from where this orange man, before he was president, was on the whole birther movement of Obama's not American, where is his birth certificate, he's from Africa, to now we're basically letting an African run the country. Make it make sense. It's just not going to make sense. It's not going to make sense. Yes, the Dems in Congress need to grow a spine. That's why you have like the Bernies, the AOCs, the Tim Walls are going out there and they're having, these public town halls and inviting all sides to come out, all party affiliation. And you saw that recently with, it was a Tim Walls town hall where you had a veteran speaking because the Republicans are kicking out veterans and people who are speaking up. Just what happened to like, you guys are big on the First Amendment, free speech, and legalized comedy and all these things, but yet if someone says something that goes against you, you kick them out. And they literally have police, security there to do that. It's cuckoo. So to act like that's not happening. But that's why I think there are certain progressives within the Democratic Party who are pushing that way and calling out like the Chuck Schumers and like the old fucking not working Nancy Pelosi bullshit, and saying, no, we need to be talking to the American people, like both sides, and having real conversations, allowing them to speak, and being like true progressives. But we'll see. We'll see, you guys. Let's see. Oh my, Obama couldn't even wear tan pants, right? He couldn't even wear, but the only difference being Elon Musk is a white African. Interesting. But racism isn't real. Everybody made it up, obviously.
You're gonna come here and be so pissed at me.
No,
it's like, don't. Just like I don't need everyone to love me. This is like too much pressure. I need to be accepted for who I am.
Yes.
But then the more eyes, like the scarier.
But I would
think.
some of you. I'm looking for some.
Yeah.
Like, don't touch me, or like, you can talk to me, but like, good. Like, you don't want to disappoint people.
No, but it's inevitably going to be happen. It's going to happen. We live our lives online. Look at the ones who've lived the longest. Trisha Paytas, 10 years. Look what she's gone through.
Yes.
Oh, like, come on.
No, it's true.
We're older. Okay.
God, I'm like,
I'm
learning a lot, actually.
Yes, witness. They work for
wait,
us.
would you just like, what do you think was more cutthroat, Survivor or Traitors? Is that easy or hard?
Fucking Traitors, but it's only because it's only because
it got
Danielle.
not
even the personal. Like, get personal.
So she's like, I'm so tired of talking about Danielle. And then she's like, what's harder, Survivor or Traitors? And she says, Traitors, but only because of Danielle. You cannot tell me that Traitors, which is like 10 days, is harder than Survivor. You got to dig your own hole to go poo-poo, or you have to have do water dumps. You don't have, food. You got bugs crawling in all your orifices. You're out there starving Marvin, no sunscreen. And that's harder than being a traitor with Danielle. That's where it's like, what? No.
Oh,
Yeah.
And maybe this is my own trauma that like you should have, because that's what Derek said, is like, I could tell that you had, or what did he say? I said after, I can't remember, but he was like, you could tell that you had been going through some shit. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, yeah, but wouldn't everyone?
But I guess I just wear it so loudly.
Yeah.
That like,
yeah.
but again, it's like, we all have our shit.
Right.
Whatever, good. And I hate when people say like, you shouldn't play these games, or you should. I am just fine. I'm strong as fucking hell.
Literally.
Just let me cry while I'm doing it. Fuck
Yeah.
you. I hate it.
Yeah.
This game 100%. And it's because
Wow.
I think expectations of, and I remember telling you this, like, I thought this was supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
And you were like, I talked to someone before and they said this was really fun.
Oh, yeah. All the production was like, everyone gets so into the game. They love it. It's so much fun. But it was the same, like, and I feel like just being a traitor would be exhausting at the end. Like, I feel like at the end, Phaedra was just so tired.
Absolutely.
So at some point you get so tired of defending yourself because people were onto her round table after round table. Like, I'm sure she was probably doing the quiet thing.
Yeah. But even just the turret and being there way fucking later than y'all, it's like, it is hard. It's fucking hard. When I left, did you hear my boot on your boots? Did I kick your door?
Or wait, we're not allowed to.
So Carolyn's like, when I left, did I kick your door? Did I kick your door? So apparently when Carolyn left, she kicked someone's door, and Gabby's like, we're not allowed to talk about that. And Carolyn's like, oh my God, you follow the rules. I didn't fucking think that. What? Girl, that's crazy.
Say that.
Oh, you really do follow the rules, girl.
Oh, come on.
You
I don't want them coming to me. I do. Sometimes I do follow rules.
I'm fucking shocked because
Yes.
Wes does too, because I don't. And
no, and you know what?
and
we need a little of both.
Is it because I don't have as big of a following? You can say it. Do you think that's why?
No, I was just so scared into submission with Bachelor.
It's
They
crazy.
really, that's where I learned. And I'm like, whatever. If this is their one thing,
No, I know.
then I will deny it till the day I die.
Holy shit. Okay, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
But no, good for you.
No, I pick and choose.
Good for you.
I pick and choose. I want to say this, which it's probably not going to get aired at the reunion, but I feel like my big takeaway when Andy Cohen was like, what did you learn from this from all the winners? And I took a turn. I'm like, I learned that misogyny is alive and well, and so is the patriarchy, because no one took us seriously. There cannot be a woman soul traitor hunter.
It's fucking true.
Pilot P is a traitor hunter. I could never be the traitor hunter. And
Did they air this? I can't remember. I got to rewatch the reunion because Wednesday night, I'm going to have my friend Shauna Christmas here. Those of you that remember a few years back now, isn't it almost a few years? Shauna Christmas would come on, and she's a hilarious comedian and content creator and friend of mine. And we would cover Potomac, and we covered other things. And she's going to come on, and we're going to finally roast and recap the reunion and finale of the Traitors. But did this end up in the edit of the reunion? I don't remember. Dreadful says she did say something about misogyny, but I can't remember. Yeah, I don't remember it being like this big of a statement, but I'm here for it.
it's the definition of misogyny is that we like to show our tits. I like to show my ass. We're smart, but everyone was like, but they think it's a surprise to us that we're smart. They're like, oh, if you haven't, but a man can be so innocent. Like there hasn't been one woman that's undeniably faithful.
It's true. Don't you feel like you could have been Dylan?
Yes.
Like, why the fuck weren't you the hero?
Literally.
Why weren't you? And I mean, it's true. You were smart. You were, but this is like the judgments that we all do. And
that is actually a good question. Like, why Gabby basically was a Dylan? You know what I mean? I can understand what they're saying here with the way it's shown. But I think a lot of us clocked that Gabby's really smart and was clocking tons of shit within the game.
We saw it in like obviously you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different, but like, yes, like you're dumb or people underestimate you, all that. And you were smart as hell. You had good reads on stuff. That's what I'm saying. Just because you don't fucking talk like a strategist, whatever the hell that sounds like.
Yeah.
I don't either. And that's how I play these games. Like I don't fucking talk about 20 steps and bullshit and yada yada.
Because it's not going to work.
But neither did Dylan. Wasn't like super. You were very similar. Why didn't you not? You weren't very similar.
No. But
you know
in
what
the
I'm saying?
Same
You
way,
were the other...
like I was providing information. I was like, this is who I think is a traitor and why.
Yes.
I didn't do anything that was traitors or make a mistake or laugh in the billiards room or what the fuck ever. So there's no reason. And like Dylan, and everyone thought that whatever Dylan was like the lead, faithful, whatever. So I would try and talk to him like, hey, we're on the same size, but his foot was on my neck. I could see him judging me in every conversation. In the last episode when I was eating, I was like, come here. And he sits down. He's like, we have to make it quick. Like, excuse me. I'm not trying to fuck you. Even at the end, even breaking in.
They're just dragging Dylan. And I think Gabby just enjoys, like she said, to have like a frenemy on the show, and that's Dylan.
The conversation of like Tom, Dylan, and Iva. It's like they wouldn't trust anything I had to say.
It's true.
Like, yes, it's like, okay, well, I'm talking to a wall. Like, one, I want to get on fucking TV, so I have to like make these conversations. I have to fake it until I make it. And thanks you guys, because I need some screen time. And you guys are the only ones who are talking. But it's like it's like
so
Iva
bad.
didn't need to win. Iva did not need to be there at the end. I'm sorry. He doesn't need.
Gabby says, I'm sorry. Iva did not need to be there. We were surprised that you guys went 4 strong, but it sounds like Dylan led the charge for that. And now Gabby's like, oh, I wish we wouldn't have had to do that.
The money. He's a literal royal. It's like, why could we have not picked him off? But it's like because Dylan was like, no, like we have to, protect him. He's coming, whatever.
Well, and I trusted him.
Okay.
Like I really thought that would be a vote for me and for Danielle. So that's why girl, it got hard talking with Iva because one ear he couldn't hear and one ear he could. And I would never remember what fucking ear I could talk into. Plus he couldn't see. And I'm not making fun of people who are blind, but like it sucked.
Yeah.
You try fucking trying to talk with someone that I didn't remember what ear. It sucked.
I didn't even know that.
He's hard of hearing in one ear. I don't know if he's like completely deaf, but like, whatever. Good. No. He can't hear in one ear. And I would always talk into the wrong ear. And then I'd be shouting and I'm not trying to be stressed like that. And I'd just be like, oh, and I'd walk away. It's too
No,
much.
yeah.
I did not know that Ivor couldn't hear in one of his ears. This is the first I've heard of that, as Carolyn explains it.
But it's so awkward watching like the episode's good. After I leave, I'm like bored, but also like it's so awkward. And
Yeah.
I'm glad you stuck it on the couch and was like, I ain't getting up. God.
No, I knew as it was happening. Danielle knew. I thought she was a traitor the whole time, but I'm like, why are you doing this?
You felt it.
She was following me. I'm like, I'm onto you. So you want to put me in this position? Like, fine.
And
I'm just
you
going to
held
sit
it,
here.
and you held.
She's talking about this now iconic moment from the Traitors where they both toward the end are sitting by each other. Danielle knowing Gabby's onto her and Gabby knowing Danielle's a traitor.
How long was that?
It was at least like 5 minutes, 7 minutes. I was like, there's nothing else to do besides relax and look the other way. I'm sick of making small talk.
I can't do the small talk. I hate it. I can't like go down and do the bullshit. It makes me uncomfortable. And that's what was hard for me in that castle. Like I would rather be alone, sitting like doing something, hiding. I would often go upstairs and I'd hide and I would just tell people I had diarrhea, but I did. Like, didn't you need a break?
Yeah. Oh, always.
Not diarrhea.
And I was always asking to touch up every 5 seconds.
Oh,
They're like,
I
Gabby, are you
hated
ready? I'm like, one more powder,
Like,
please.
please. I can't.
Yes.
It was a lot and it wasn't like fun sometimes, but it was fun sometimes. But watching it after, like, I was like, this is fucking weird. And the dynamics.
No, it gets so dry and uncomfortable. You're like, because you also have no friends. It's like, oh my God, they're like, you were protecting yourself with the baby. I'm like, where are they now? I'm alone. Like, this isn't like, I have nobody to like talk shit with.
But it's so bad. Like, the dynamic of people was just
crazy. Yes.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who you can trust at that point either. Okay, but I think we've really run our mouths.
Yeah. This is fun.
Yeah. Good.
Who are you talking to when you're doing this? Like, is that like the like, because when you're just doing it.
Okay, so we're getting to the end, but the end is actually pretty juicy. There was parts I'm sure we didn't have to listen to, but I think it spawned interesting conversations in the chat. But here she's going to she's going to mention, I think what she's mentioning is Nana's. We didn't know Nana had a nemesis in Jason, the Jason show in Minneapolis that Carolyn was on. And I think we played a clip of that, which is like a local talk show that's on every day through, I think, KSTP or Hubbard Broadcasting for my fellow Minnesotans. And Carolyn had said that she wanted to be his co-host or work with him. Apparently, he went back and played this for his co-host, and his co-host, her name is Alexis. I know her very well. We worked together at Hubbard Broadcasting, the radio stations that I worked for in my 20s. And Alexis, and she's a doll. Like, that's what we say in Minnesota. But she's a doll. Like, she's so smart and she's so cute and she's so kind and she's just clever and all the good stuff. And I think Carolyn is talking about taking. So I was like, holy shit, I know the woman that I think she's talking about, Alexis, and how she wants her job. And this Jason was messy, the one that Nana doesn't like, because one time he allegedly, I'll say, I believe my mom, #believe Nana, but he walked past her and producer Linda while they were smoking. My mom used to smoke back in the day, and he did this to them. And Nana, in her Scorpio self, will never forgive him, and he is dead to her. And I did not know this, because I never had an issue with Jason before. I didn't really know him. He worked at the same radio station I worked at as well, but I left just as I think he was I think he was there at the same. Yeah, he was there at the same time. But it was. I think I was leaving as his star was really rising there. But I knew Alexis very well because she worked on other shows and was a producer and things. But I didn't know Nana had beef with him, and we learned that Nana. So I'm gonna have to tell her this story. But it was interesting because they're talking about, local Minnesota. So Carolyn's already getting messy with the local Minnesota freaking media. And she's going to talk about it here on this podcast that is going to reach a lot more people than the show in Minnesota does. So I bet it got back to them, and I wonder if they discussed it. And then she's also going to mention Tom Sandoval.
And no one's
here. Yeah.
So that's just like the thing. And then,
I'm just this way.
I love that.
It's so fun.
So
it's liberating.
Because that's what fucking that one guy does, right?
Yeah.
Or a lot of people-
I'm like, fucking a guy? Which guy?
I don't know his name. I don't. But
Uh,
and who knows? It doesn't even matter. But I feel like there's a lot of podcast people. So is this like the fucking thing? If you do it
Yeah.
like this, it makes it more like
It's like a rant. Like you get to say whatever you want. And I feel like because a lot of people will come on and I'll say something I have by myself, but they'll be like, oh, you're going to get me canceled or you're going to get me in trouble. So it's like it reads better if you're
Yes.
just talking by yourself because nobody is in the room. Kind of like when people are like, oh, you're weird. Oh, I don't, or you talk funny or you don't
Yeah.
do this. It's the same thing. It's like, when I'm just fucking around and I
Yes,
want to have a
yes.
good time. Why are you raining on
Why-
my parade? But then you like internalize it. So it's like I like to do a mix of both.
who do because where is that just like the thing now? Like because I see more people doing that.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, I don't think
So Carolyn's so curious about how these podcasts can work and how you can just, like Gabby's doing, be your own on your own show and you don't necessarily have to have guests. You can just sound off on whatever you want to do, which is something that I 100% like to do. I never wanted to make my channel about just interviewing people because I want my brand is me. It's my comedy. It's like myself. And so having either, a co-host all the time or always having to rely on guests. I don't want people to just watch because I'm going to have this guest on. If I wanted that, I could, go apply to E-News and not get hired. I wanted to be able to have a perspective and an opinion and be entertaining without having to worry about like, I need another hot guest on in order to get the numbers, so I see what Gabby's saying. So Carolyn, we know she wants to start a podcast or something. And after her podcast ended with that Carson guy, ended very abruptly, she's kind of been figuring out how to pivot into the world by, either now she's realizing I can do this maybe by myself. And you can, Carolyn, you can 100% do this by yourself. You're doing stuff on Patreon. You can start a YouTube channel of your own. I would imagine as your, star in this reality TV competition world continues to rise, you should seek out probably some kind of management when it comes to this sort of thing. Just make sure they're the right people and they know exactly where you want to go with your career, and they're not pushing you in directions you don't want to go. Then don't do that. But I think there are some good, helpful people out there that she could sign with, and they could help her get to the point she wants to in her career outside of, these shows. But definitely don't hitch your wagon to another brand. This is what I always told the Big Brother people, especially the Cookout, when they were coming off of Big Brother and they were hitching their ride to Cody and Derek Levasseur little winner's circle thing. And it's like, no, you guys can go, you are a whole brand now yourself. You can go and talk on your own platform. You don't have to go and build someone else's platform, because when you leave that, where are those people going? Are they going to follow you over there? But you will see a lot of other content creators, reach out to like Carolyn and be like, and I think Sheena might have been one of them, like, come over here, we'll help you. And Gabby gave her good advice. Like, no, don't go work for someone else unless it's like a reputable production company that you like or something. But you are your own brand. So be your own person. So Carolyn's very interested in what Gabby does.
I don't think that
Thank you,
obviously
Chicken
like,
Head.
there's not
Okay,
someone
George,
right
thanks,
here
Millie.
too, unless there is someone right here too.
No, at the beginning, it's like so hard finding guests, and they're like, yeah, why? Like some people do.
You don't even need a goddamn guest. You know that.
And now, and
I do wonder who she was talking about just a little bit ago when she's like, is that what that one guy does? That guy? I'm trying to think of all the podcasts Carolyn has done, how there's like one guy there. And Ryan Bailey is someone who does, is one guy who occasionally interviews people. So I don't know if she was talking about Ryan Bailey. I don't know.
That's what I wanted all along. I'm like, I do not want to be pressed for guests, because I'll be damned if I have someone on the podcast who I don't want.
No, or
Are you
even
gonna-
just if you can't fucking do it, and that's like why
She is Amy.
oh God, don't get me started. I'm trying to be a co-host, but it's like of this show in Minnesota, but like
Ooh.
they found out about it and they
Okay, so here's where I think she's talking about Jason, Nana's, the smoking police, Nana's arch nemesis, and maybe possibly my friend Alexis, and trying to take her job.
fucking do it, and that's like why because I was oh God, don't get me started. I'm trying to be a co-host, but it's like of this show in Minnesota, but like
Ooh.
they found out about it, and I did a podcast where I was like, I didn't know that they would listen to it, and I was like, I'm trying to get her job. I fucking said it on the podcast that I was trying to go for this bitch's job on this show. They this is how big of a fuckery that guy is. And he's funny. And he's like a gay who's like really eccentric and whatever. He fucking found the podcast clip and he posted, he like played it on the show in front of the girl.
Oh my God.
Yes! But that's kind of fucked up. And so then she was like super uncomfortable and it probably was not a pro.
But who cares? Everyone wants everyone else's job.
And
I
that's
want to
what
be the host of Love Island so bad. It's
Ariana. Ariana, watch your job. So I'm going to have to find this clip. If any of my Minnesotans have it, where Jason played this maybe in front of Alexis. Because as far as I know on the Jason show, he's just the host on his TV show. But I know that he has had a radio show and possibly now podcast. I mean, I haven't been there since I left the radio jobs in 2006, 2007. So I think they're still on what once was My Talk, if that's still there. And him and Alexis, I don't know if they still have a show. I'm assuming they do. And Carolyn kind of wanted in on that. But I imagine Alexis hearing that, she's probably like, oh, that's weird. But she's saying Jason played it for her. But knowing Alexis, I know she would have like a sense of humor about it. And I don't think she would be uncomfortable. I think she would just make a joke about it. But it was interesting because I was like, is she talking about Alexis?
It's not up to me.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, maybe that's his way of like, I can't say that. Okay,
no, that's
like,
I mean,
but that's what I
knows?
wanted. And so I don't know, maybe like I just want to fill in. But yeah.
So Carolyn was like, well, maybe that's his way of like telling this girl. It sounded like she was like, is that his way of telling who I think she's talking about, Alexis, that she's on the outs, that she's going to take Carolyn. And I'm like, knowing Alexis and Jason, just the little bit I know about their relationship and how long they've worked together, I highly doubt he would go the route of firing who is now, I think, one of his best friends and partner on, radio podcasts and such for so long because Carolyn showed interest. It's like, what? I got to reach out to Alexis. Let me see if Alexis and Jason, Minnesota, if they still have a show. Yes, Jason and Alexis, 15 years running. You guys, Jason Matheson grew up on television and his love for 80s soap, Dallas, and Disney World, and also telling Nana this while smoking, just may rival that, or that's the episode. Just may rival that for his husband and 2 dogs. His crafty counterpart, Alexis Thompson, spends her time chasing a toddler, DIYing pop culture inspired projects, and Googling animal stories with her trivia prowess. World traveling cat loving point of view, producer Holly Roberts, that's their producer, I guess, is there to call it like it is with a side of snark. 15 years running, Alexis and Jason in the morning, which can be heard weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. Central Time. They're laughing and leaking on My Talk 107.1 radio in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And that was one of the radio stations I worked for when I lived there after college. And it was like the first, I believe, women's talk radio station in the nation. And it became really successful. But I mean, it's crazy to think that like, so I just have to listen to Carol and say, I got to reach out to Alexis and be like, did this happen, girl?
Internalize it. So it's like, I like to do a speeds better if you're just talking by yourself because nobody is in the room. Kind of like when people are like, oh, you're weird. Oh, or you talk funny or you don't do this. It's the same thing. It's like, I'm just fucking around and I want to have a good time. Why are you raining on my parade? But then you like internalize it. So it's like, I like to do a mix of both.
Because is that just like the thing now? Like, because I see more people doing that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think obviously like there's not someone right here too, unless there is someone right here too.
No, at the beginning, it's like so hard finding guests. And they're like, yeah, what? Like some people do.
You don't even need a goddamn guest. You know that.
And now and that's what I wanted all along. I'm like, I do not want to be pressed for guests because I'll be damned if I have someone on the podcast who I don't want.
No, or even if you can't fucking do it. And that's like why because I was, oh God, don't get me started. I'm trying to be a co-host, but it's like of this show in Minnesota, but like they found out about it and I did a podcast where I was like, I didn't know that they would listen to it. And I was like, I'm trying to get her job. I fucking said it on the podcast.
That was on Ryan Bailey's podcast. Oh, God, I can't wait to talk to Ryan Bailey. Oh my gosh. That was on his podcast. She said this because I remember listening to it. It was on his show that she said she wanted this. I'm pretty sure it was. She said she wanted her job. Oh my God, Carolyn. So that means that Alexis and Jason listen to Ryan Bailey's show, which, hello, yes, Ryan Bailey. It's a big deal. We love Ryan Bailey.
That I was trying to go for this bitch's job on this show. They fuck. This is how big of a fuckery that guy is, and he's funny, and he's like a gay who's like really eccentric and whatever. He fucking found the podcast clip and he posted. He like played it on the show in front of girls.
Oh my God!
Yes! But that's kind of fucked up. And so then she was like super uncomfortable, and it probably was not a pro.
But who cares? Everyone wants everyone else's job. I want to be the host of Love Island so bad. It's not up to me.
Exactly. And I'm like, maybe that's his way of like. I can't say that. Okay,
no, that's
like.
I mean,
but that's what I wanted. And so I don't know, maybe like I just want to fill in. But yeah, like you are what you're doing, like you don't want to fucking have to.
It would totally let you fill in. When I moved to California, I contacted to fill in for the morning show and other shows, and they let me fill in back in the day after I had been gone for a while. So Carolyn, they're definitely gonna let you. I wouldn't be surprised if you talked to My Talk 107.1 and they would make a spot for you. Like but you don't have to try to steal Alexis's job. They would probably create like a weekend show for you or something, But I also think where you're at now, you could probably even go. Now, I mean, I think that's a wonderful job. If I ever moved back to Minnesota, I would probably contact My Talk and be like, "Hi, remember me?" Even if not, "Hi, I love you guys. Do you want me to do anything?" But I feel like Carolyn could even do more. But this is so interesting. Okay, let's keep playing it.
It depend on like, or even have like another personality like overtake you, or like you're good on your own.
Yeah, which I do like. Like I want to have funny people on because I just always want like an insightful, good combo.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's like, but also you don't know if you have chemistry until you're there, and it takes you a while to warm up. So it's like, sometimes it's just dry.
But you don't need anyone, Gabby.
Thank you.
Okay,
that. Where can we find you? I'm gonna link all your stuff.
Girl. I always tell people I have no idea. Look it up. No, what am I supposed to say again? I'm so bad at this. I literally tell people that. I'm like, can't you find it before I
I will. And I'll put it in. It's at Carolyn.
So here is Nana's arch nemesis, Jason, and Alexis, the sweetie wipe the seedy, and their morning show, 6 to 9 a.m. Shout out. Even though don't do this to Nana when she's smoking, but she doesn't smoke anymore and hasn't smoked in a long time. So we might have to build a bridge, but maybe not. It's up to Nana. But this is who she is talking about, if you guys are wondering.
Everything's
Rose.
just Carolyn Rose,
Right.
It's with fucking zeros and not. So people are like, why'd you do that? Because the O's were taken. So it's zero.
I can't say enough good things about Alexis. She's so. Which way am I going here? I'm going this way. She's so cute. She's so creative. She's so smart. She's so fun. She's so kind. She's literally all the good stuff. I can't say one bad word about this woman. And we knew each other in our 20s, and she was a delight. So to see her continue to be such a badass and so successful, I'm so happy for her, even though Nana has beef with her friend.
Heroes.
No, I love it. It's giving MySpace,
Like
which is also going to come back. Everything comes back around.
I wanted it to be Carolyn Rose because I hate my last name, but the O's were missing. So what the fuck was I supposed to do?
Oh yeah, you should. Now you should reach out to Carolyn Rose and be like, "Can I have it?" She'll say no, but
you know what I'm saying?
A shot.
Like then no one knows it, but whatever.
No, I love it. Thank you so much. We
Thank
love you here.
you.
Everyone's been dying for you to come on. I have a twitch in my eye.
No, that's good. I like it. Okay. When you say everyone, are you just saying that or
no?
This is such a neurodivergent answer. That's why I'm like, there's no way Carolyn's not ADHD. This is something I have said, continued to say when people are like, oh my God, everyone. Now, are you just saying that? Who said that? Like, did people really say that? What she said. Now, when you say everybody, are you just saying that? I just relate to that so much.
No, I love it. Thank you so much. We
Thank
love you here.
you.
Everyone's been dying for you to come on. I have a twitch in my eye.
No, that's good. I like it. Okay. When you say everyone, are you just saying that or
no? People have been DMing me. They're like, when the fuck is Carolyn coming on? And I'm like, she lives in Minnesota. You're in town now. We're literally at the 11th hour because both of us are like, yeah, we can do it whenever. We can do it whenever. We can do it whenever. And we're like, bitch, get your ass over here.
Yeah, no, exactly. I appreciate it.
No,
I didn't know
thank
people like
you.
me over here too. Are you making this?
Yes.
What? So
No.
maybe I do have I do suffer from
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome?
Yes.
100%. But I have confidence, but I do. Or is that what?
No.
Imposter syndrome is what? When you don't feel like you're as good as
When, you don't feel like not only that you deserve it, but I guess people kind of like see you better than you are.
I love myself, but again, it's the attention and like the praise or like the, oh my God, I'll never get used to that. So maybe imposter syndrome is the wrong one, but like good. And
No,
again, I look at people on like different, like good, you have like 1 million and something followers.
Yeah, no,
You know what I
people
mean?
die for you.
When do you think I'll get to 1 million? Girl.
Fuck, I don't.
This again, hashtag so relatable. Carolyn is earnestly asking this question, and Gabby's like, yeah. She's like, no, when do you think I'll get to 1 million followers? If you said all these people like me, literally, like, let's not bullshit. Like, when do you think? Like, she really wants this advice, and this made me laugh. We have to listen to it one more time. No, and watch Carolyn's face when she says this. She's 100% me. Like, well, when do you think that'll happen? Like, she really wants to know.
At people on like different, like good, you have like 1 million and something followers.
Yeah, no,
You know
people
what I mean?
die for you.
When do you think I'll get to 1 million? Girl.
Fuck, I don't know. I know because I was on AB.
Gabby laughs like, oh, yeah, that's funny. She's like, no, I'm serious. Like, when? Do you have a date? Do you know a time? Like, do you think it'll happen? And I love that because she looks at her like, okay, I know you're laughing, but I'm serious. I'm serious.
You see, I was on cable TV. So it's like it's different when it's streaming, you know. But
Survivor's fucking CBS.
I know.
I got more followers from Traitors than I did Survivor.
Yeah.
Well, that is the thing about Survivor. Survivor really doesn't garner a bunch of social media followers, things like that. Where Traitors does, Big Brother can, but Survivor, I feel like there's so many seasons, and unless you're one of like the legends or you make a huge impact, and not saying Carolyn didn't, but I mean now obviously it's grown. But unless you're like a Parvati or a Sandra or a Boston Rob, you're on that level, you're really not. You don't see your followers. I've heard Survivor people talk about that. Than these other shows because they put out like 2 a year. I can barely keep up with what they're doing. So interesting to see the Traitors. I did save a screenshot. There's an account that calculated everyone's growth since being on Traitors, and it was super fascinating. I'm sure it's changed since I did a screenshot of it. And I'll look for it and share it on the next live. But Carolyn is like earnestly asking this question.
Yeah.
Girl. Yes.
Yeah. No, this season's going to pop. And it's just the beginning. Once it ends and people will like binge it and come back. But just keep doing what you're doing.
But to get to but yeah, you did the star dancing.
Yeah.
I thought it was Alexis who co-hosts. Does Fallon co-host with, the TV show? Okay, Patty, thank you for correcting me because I thought she was talking about Alexis and I don't know Fallon. Wasn't Fallon on KDWB? Fallon, Minneapolis. I'm going to look up. Wasn't she Fallon Jason show? Let's see. Okay. Fallon. Oh, this happened in 2024. Fallon joins Jason's show as new co-host. Okay. And Fallon, was she, I know this is a little insider baseball for Minnesotans. I apologize to you guys, but she spent more than a decade with people during their morning commute on KDWB's The Dave Ryan Show, which is that's been around since I was in fucking junior high, The Dave Ryan Show, Dave Ryan in the morning. And I remember there was a woman named Fallon on there. So now Fallon Bonset, known as Fallon to many, will be Jason. Oh, so she's talking about Fallon. I thought she was talking about Alexis. I'm like, oh my, I don't know how Fallon would feel about Carolyn, but she probably would laugh. I would think. Well, I would laugh. And I'll tell you, there's probably a better chance of Carolyn taking Fallon's job. No shade to Fallon. I know she's very talented, just because it looks like she's only been a co-host with him since 2024. Because I'm reading an article from Fox 9 KMSP from July 8th, 2024. So there's definitely a better chance than, because I was like, him and Alexis are like besties. They've been like 15 years running. So there's a better chance that she could take Fallon's show. Oh, you saw it, Patty? Can you send me a link to this so we can watch it next time? Is there any way? I don't know if you can send it to me on Instagram. You can email it to me, joleenreacts at gmail.com. You can send it in a TikTok DM, Instagram DM, drop a link here. Oh, he made it cringe. Oh, this makes it more interesting because I'm like, oh, there's no way. Him and Alexis are like family. But someone who just came in 2024, that was last year. I don't know. I don't even know what time is anymore. So that was middle of last year. So she's new. Oh. Okay. Fallon was on. Oh, there was a Fallon on Knots Landing. Thank you, Patty, for coming in with the correct information because I only knew of his co-host ever as Alexis. I didn't know. And I thought the Jason show he just had by himself, but it looks like he did take Fallon on as a co-host. Thank you so much for emailing me the clip. Fallon on as a co-host last July. So, I mean, there's a chance, Carolyn, now that I know what you're talking about, I don't want Fallon to lose her job. But there's
once it ends and people will like binge it and come back, but just keep doing what you're doing.
But to get to but yeah, you did the star dancing.
Yeah, the star dancing. Yeah, we got to get you on the star dancing.
Fuck that.
Yeah, no, come on. No, you would do it.
No, I would not.
You would do it. Yes, say you would do it.
Yes, I'd love to do the date.
Okay,
yes.
good. Okay,
Isn't
good.
it a lot of work? And you're like,
yeah, but who cares?
Isn't it? Well, you're a natural dancer. You're a fucking cheerleader.
No, it's fun. No, it really is.
Really?
Yes, it's a different because you're just focused the whole time. And you get to wear sparkly stuff.
I'm not on the level of Dancing with the Stars. I feel like
after Traitors.
So who out of our cast, Chriselle's our
Carolyn better do Dancing with the Stars. If she wants to make this her career, that is a move that she needs to do. She's like, I'm going to do the star dancing. And I hope she goes on there and calls it star dancing. I would be shocked if Dancing with the Stars hasn't already reached out to her. Somebody check on Sheena. If Carolyn gets this gig and Sheena doesn't, check on Sheena.
Already done it.
Yeah.
You've already done it.
Mm-hmm.
Who from our cast? And don't mess.
Nikki Bella has done it.
Nikki. Oh God, you all have?
Yeah. That's how we knew each other.
Annoying.
I know.
You weren't on the same season though, right?
No. But it's kind of like, okay.
You guys have all done it.
Mm-hmm.
And was Tom sedated at the events?
Okay. I don't, right? He didn't say anything.
I'm sorry, what, Carolyn? What was that? I'm sorry, what was that? What was that? What did you guys should play it again? Did you say it was Tom sedated at the events? Yes, Carolyn, of course he was. You think he's what? After all that work, and what did it get me? Do. Why did I do it? After you literally were just like standing this man, going on there and being like, Captain Planet save Tom Sandoval. Yes, he's allegedly sedated on something. Let's go back and listen.
Mm-hmm.
Who from our cast? And don't mess.
Nikki Bella has done it.
Nikki. Oh God, you all have?
Yeah. That's how we knew each other. I know.
You weren't on the same season though, right?
No. But it's kind of like, okay.
You guys have all done it.
Mm-hmm.
And was Tom sedated at the events?
I don't, right? He didn't say anything.
Oh God.
I know.
I'm not talking shit about it.
The transition there. Okay, and oh, you all did Dancing with the Stars, so annoying. Oh my God. What? Girl, Bob the drag queen. And was Tom sedated at those events in LA for the reunion? Gabby's like, I know. Well, we do know that, who was it that said, oh, that was Southern. I'm getting caught up on Southern Charm when Craig says that in the podcast, Austin would be zannied out. I'm like, yep.
Nikki Bella has done it.
Nikki. Oh God, you all have?
Yeah. That's how we knew each other.
I
know.
You weren't on the same season though, right?
No. But it's kind of like, okay.
You guys have all done it.
Mm-hmm.
And was Tom sedated at the events?
I don't, right? He didn't say anything.
Oh God.
I know.
I'm not talking shit about him anymore, but like,
yeah,
his personality on the Traitors, I felt like was quirky, weird, fucking freaky. And I loved it when he was like sweating and being a freak.
Yeah.
I felt like he was a beaten down dog at the event stuff and at the reunion. I felt like he tried to have the personality. You didn't feel like a sedated vibe?
Well, I talked to him for 5 seconds because we were out there the whole time and I didn't see him before and I didn't go to like any of this stuff with him.
It was just like, I'm like, that's not the Tom.
everyone's different. We're all like, yeah, we're beaten to a pulp. We're exhausted.
No, I know. So good. I wanted the freak.
So I think they took out the Sheena thing. Good thing I screen recorded it. But at the end, did she say, I wanted the freak? So so Carolyn, looking back, finding out
The
what we
whole time.
all kind of warned her about, that Tom is performative and he's not fun and, quirky, and this person that she was painting in her interviews that she thought she knew, and that he is that guy that will just switch on you like that. We've seen him do it to pretty much every woman that he's ever been on the show with. And he's according to him, cisgendered male, cis. And that means he can't yell at women. If he was gay, he could do it. If he was a woman, he could do it. But since he's a cis male, he can't. And that makes him mad because he wants to yell at women. So Carolyn finding out sooner than I thought that Tom is Tom Sandoval's trash. But this is at the end. I feel like they cut stuff out because there was more to this. Interesting. Let's just listen one more time here.
But
She's like, you didn't feel like you was sedated?
just keep doing what you're doing.
But to get to but yeah, you did the star dancing.
Yeah, the star dancing. Yeah, we got to get you on the star dancing.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
Shut
no,
up.
come on. No, you would do it.
No, I would
you
not.
would do it. Yes, say you would do it.
Yes, I
Say-
really.
Yes, it's a different because you're just focused.
Chriselle's already done it.
Yeah.
You've already done it.
Oh, but
No.
it's kind of like,
I'm not talking shit about him anymore, but it's
Yeah.
all
Oh,
done.
interesting that she says, I'm not talking shit about him anymore. When were you talking shit? Because we definitely weren't privy to these conversations because you were just lovey-dovey-dovey on him. We missed the shit talking. We would have really loved to see that. We totally missed the shit talking. We just saw the oh, cancel me tomorrow. Okay, girl, cancel me now. I love Tom Sandoval. Girl, seriously, when Bob the drag queen left, I was like, what? Tom Sandoval is such a nice guy. He's so sweet. I don't care what he did. We shouldn't be held for our mistakes. He's great. He's wonderful. People keep telling me he's a narcissist. He's a cheater. He hates women. And I'm like, what? And sure enough, everything people said that he was and how he'd act came back. And I saw it firsthand. But interesting that she's like, and I'm not talking shit about him anymore. Huh?
On it.
mm-hmm.
And was Tom sedated at the events?
I don't, right? He didn't say anything.
Oh God.
Right? He didn't say anything because Vicky is like, I'm telling you, Vicky is sent from above to give Tom a taste of his own medicine. She is sent here. Vicky's an op. Vicky's a spy. Vicky is like, oh, Tom, you want to mess with women? Okay, well, then I'm going to mess with you. And he's terrified. And I think Vicky might be catching on. And that might be wishful thinking or delusion on my part. But I think Vicky Lee Robinson is like, ever since that breakup, December 16th, 2024, in which she tweeted, everyone was right. He's in love with the best friends. He's a cheater. Y'all were right about him. I'm paraphrasing. And seeing, another woman speak this way about him. Well, she doesn't speak that way because, she just is like, oh my God, I had very little interaction with him. I just think this is because he went in, did his flirty flirt game, tried to do his manipulation game. I'm a victim. And Vicky knows it. I think Vicky knows. Vicky knows. Vicky knows.
I know.
His girlfriend. Yes, his girlfriend.
Talking shit about him anymore, but
We don't play that.
Yeah.
his personality on the Traitors, I felt like was
Mhm.
quirky, weird, fucking freaky, and I loved
Yeah.
it when he was like sweating and being a freak.
Yeah.
I felt like he was a beaten down dog at the event, that stuff, and at the reunion. I
Mhm.
felt like he tried to have the personality. You didn't feel like a sedated vibe?
Well, I talked to him for 5 seconds because we were out there the whole time and I didn't see him before and I didn't go to like any of this stuff with him.
It was just like, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's not the Tom.
Everyone's different. We're all like, yeah, we're beaten to a pulp. We're exhausted.
No, I know. So good. I wanted the freak.
Interesting place to end. I swear that is not how I remember this podcast ending. Let me check my little screen record here and see, because I know I was screen recording certain conversations.
You search your name or search me home. I'm fucking shocked. Yeah, Wes does too. Because well, she was just saying or talking about comments online, and this.
Okay, let's
Oh,
see.
you were like Chriselle.
Smash that like if you haven't already, you guys.
You were smart. You were. I'm like, I'm onto you. So it's like it reads better if you're just talking by yourself, because no, like an insightful, good combo. Yeah, but it's like, but also you don't know if you have chemistry until you're there, and it takes you a while to warm up. So it's like, sometimes it's just.
I'm just
dry.
listening to see if I have.
Thank you. Okay. We're in town now. We're literally at the 11th hour because both of us are like, yeah, we can do it whenever. We can do it whenever. We can do it whenever. And we're like, bitch, get your ass over here.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
No,
I didn't know
thank
people
you.
like me over here too. Are you
Yes,
making this? What?
no.
So maybe I do have I do suffer from.
Okay, we heard
Yeah,
that
that's
part.
syndrome.
Let's see.
I was on ABC. I was on cable TV. So it's like, it's different when it's streaming.
All of them?
And right. Unless they're, I've been on Nick Files a bunch too.
Like, I don't, in it, well, if you.
Okay, so here's where she's talking what people think is about Sheena. And I don't know if she just cut it out of this video. Let's see, when was this posted? So this video 3 days ago, and I listened to it yesterday. But maybe I just missed it in this one. But here's when she's allegedly talking about Sheener.
So you're a fucking
No,
cheerleader.
it's fun. No, it really is.
Really?
Yes.
It's coming up.
different because you're just focused the whole time.
I don't.
And you get to wear sparkly stuff.
I'm not on the level of Dancing with the Stars. I feel like.
Yeah, after Traitors.
So who out of our cast? Chriselle's already done it.
Yeah. You.
Gabby went in and edited that part out because we would have heard it after the Dancing with the Stars. Do you think Carolyn contacted her? Go, girl, you got to get that out. You got to get that out of there. I didn't mean, girl. Oh my God. They're like coming at me. Like I'm Bob the drag queen, girl. Like I didn't know that you were going to keep that in. Even with the beep, they know it's Sheena. They know I'm talking about Sheener.
Already done it.
Mhm.
Who from our cast? And don't mess.
Nikki Bella has done it.
Nikki. Oh
Garcia.
God, you all have.
Yeah.
How
That's how we knew each other.
annoying.
I know.
You weren't on the same season though, right?
No, but it's kind of like, okay.
You guys have all done it.
Mm-hmm.
And was Tom sedated at the events?
I know, right? You didn't say anything.
Oh God.
I know.
I'm not talking shit about him anymore, but like
Yeah.
his personality on the Traitors, I felt like was quirky, weird, fucking freaky. And I loved it when he was like sweating and being a freak.
Yeah.
I felt like he was a beaten down dog at the event stuff and at the reunion. I felt like he tried to have the personality. You didn't feel like a sedated vibe?
Well, I talked to him for 5 seconds because we were out there the whole time and I didn't see him before.
It's coming up, Amy.
And I didn't go to like any of the stuff with him.
And allegedly she cut it out. I just didn't hear it. So maybe I missed it, but I think she might have. Because you can go back in on YouTube and edit the video and it'll still say it was posted on the same date. It'll just go private while it's editing.
It was just like, I'm like, that's not the Tom.
Everyone's different. We're all like, yeah, we're beaten to a pulp. We're exhausted.
No, I know. So good. I wanted the freak.
Okay, so maybe. So then it does end with I wanted the freak.
There's so many thirsty,
Here we go.
desperate ass people. And I'm like, like, I don't, well, if you want to just come to coffee with me and fuck, why are you, I don't know who you are. I don't know. I've never watched and I don't want to work with someone who literally is doing a fucking women owned with her husband doing the talk.
No, and don't work for another person in the business.
No.
Work for a company, work for a production, work with someone who has their shit figured out. You don't need to be under anyone else's influencer content creator's name because you are one.
And I'm like, why would I? And I go, I've never like seen like the Vanderpump. Like I don't know anything about it. I know she has her own. Well, then he's like, you gotta come when I.
Sorry.
Is she?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know because I don't know people. And so I was just like, no, I don't want to do, you know me people, just come and do my fucking pod. I don't want to do any fucking pods.
Yeah.
Except for yours. But like,
No, thank you. That's how I am.
and I'm saying no to most.
Yeah.
All of them.
And right. Unless they're, I've been on Nick Files a bunch too, just because he has a good audience and it's whatever. But other than that, I'm like, I don't want to. Cause what? It's not going to like do anything for me.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't get paid for this. Did you really say no?
Again, I got
Okay, so Carolyn mentioning someone from Vanderpump. She never watched Vanderpump, but someone has reached out to her. She talks about the thirsty people out there. Someone reached out, and maybe wanted her, wanted to collab, wanted some kind of opportunity. Maybe she reached out like, hey, I have a women's business, run by a woman, but it sounds like she's talking about Sheena, because she says someone's husband, from Vanderpump, who has a podcast, who they wanted to meet her for coffee to talk about opportunities. And she's like, I don't know who that is, girl. And the only person from Vanderpump who has a husband who does podcasting, who would reach out on her behalf, would be Sheena. Lala's not married. She has a podcast. She doesn't have a husband that's going to reach out to anyone. Katie has a podcast. Obviously, she doesn't have a husband. Ariana, she's not married. She's got Daniel, but she doesn't have a podcast either. Sheena, podcast, married, and we know. And even the way she was talking, like the husband, it's almost like she wanted to do an Australian accent. Maybe that was just my brain going there. And then I don't know what Gabby said when they bleeped it. And Carolyn's like, oh, she is? I didn't know. What? And Gabby's like, did Gabby say she's an opportunist? Did Gabby have something good to say about her? Do Gabby, Sheena have a good rapport? I don't know. But it's from Carolyn's reaction, it sounded like Gabby told her something to like reaffirm, like, yeah, that wouldn't be good. That's just my interpretation. It's from Vanderpump though. And Brittany's on the Valley. Brittany hasn't been on Vanderpump in a really long time. And Katie's under Nick Viall. So if, Nick Viall was going to reach out to her, that'd be different. And she already did the Nick Viall podcast. Carolyn did. So I think she's talking about Sheena. It wouldn't be Stassi, because Stassi, I can't imagine Stassi. I think it's Sheena. I guess it could, but Stassi hasn't been on Vanderpump in so long. And I don't know, maybe Bo reaches out. But I think it's Sheena. Okay, let's listen one more time. Hi.
Why would I? And I go, no, I've never watched. And the Traitors, I felt like was quirky, weird, fucking freaky, and I loved it when he was like sweating and being a freak. Yeah, I felt like he was a beaten down dog at the event stuff and at the reunion. I felt like he tried to have the personality, but you didn't feel like a sedated vibe.
Well, I talked to him for 5 seconds because we were out there the whole time and I didn't see him before, and I didn't go to like any of this stuff with him.
It was just like, I'm like, that's not the Tom.
Everyone's different. We're all like, we're
all in
beaten
this
to a pulp.
together.
We're exhausted.
Oh, I know. So good. I wanted the freak.
That's a weird way to end. I wanted the freak.
There's so many thirsty, desperate ass people. And I'm like, I don't, well, if you want to just come to coffee with me and fuck, why are you, I don't know who you are. I don't know. I've never watched, and I don't want to work with someone who literally is doing a fucking women owned with her husband doing the talk.
No, and don't work for another person in the business. No. Work for a company, work for a production, work with someone who has their shit figured out. You don't need to be under anyone else's influencer content creator's name because you are one. And I'm like, why would I? And I go, I've never like seen like the Vanderpump. Like, I don't know anything about it. I know she has her own. Well, then he's like, you gotta come when I. Sorry. Is she? Yeah.
Didn't it sound like she was trying to do an Australian accent when they got, you gotta come? No, is it just me? Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know because I don't know people. And so I was just like, and no, I don't want to do, you know me, people just come and do my fucking pod. I don't want to do any fucking pods. Yeah. Except for yours. But like,
no, thank you. That's how I am.
And I'm saying no to most.
Yeah.
All of them.
And right. Unless I've been on Nick Viall's a bunch too.
So interesting. So people are speculating. I was one of them that it was Sheena. It sounded like Sheena because she's was a current cast member on Vanderpump. But like you guys said, it could be Stassi. Could it be Kristen? Doesn't she have a podcast with her dude? But she hasn't been on Vanderpump a long time. But like you guys are saying, Carolyn wouldn't know that because she doesn't watch. But yeah, we'll see, because Carolyn did say that it wasn't Sheena under one of the Bravo content creators posts about it. She's like, it's not true. Take this down, girl. That's not what I'm talking about. So women-owned business. I mean, maybe shenanigans is, you know, Sheena wants to branch out. I don't know. Stassi probably has a bigger brand. I'm not sure. Maybe Brock. Yeah, Evelyn saying makes calls for Sheena's podcast. It wouldn't surprise me. LVP, but Ken doesn't run the show like that, you know? LVP would reach out or have like her assistant or something reach out, and LVP doesn't have a podcast. Or a woman. Well, yeah, now you guys are making me doubt it. Stassi would be could be Kristen. We'll see what more comes out about this and if it's addressed. I would be shocked if Sheena doesn't address this, whether she's like, we've never reached out to her. And then we'll know it's not Sheena, or her responding to this being like, I don't know why she'd say that. You know, I would be shocked if Sheena didn't talk about that. Bonnie says Stassi is a woman-owned business more than Sheena. That's true. And she has a bigger brand and her own thing. And she was on, or she is going to be on Vanderpump Villa, right? This next season, and another reality show. So maybe, possibly, that could be. I don't know, but I've had so much fun with you guys. It's almost 3 hours. It doesn't even feel like it to me. Hopefully it doesn't feel like it to you either. Make sure you smash that like on the way out. We have a light goal of getting to 600 possibly. Last time we did a challenge for roasted. Okay, I'm going to roast episode 1 and 2 because you guys showed up and showed out in the comment section last time. I will of Jax's podcast, In the Mind of a Man. I will roast episode 3 if I can get 25 comments after the video posts in the comment section saying roast it. And then I'll go for 3 as well. That's kind of fun. And that we'll just see how much interest. And again, tomorrow I'm going to be roasting Jax's first episode, which I think his guest is Alex Baskin-Robbins. Oh my God. And I'm getting caught up on Southern Charm because I want to talk to you guys about that and talk about Jeremiah Was a Bullfrog and how they allegedly did Vanita dirty and how he's ruining yet another show allegedly. So we have lots to talk about. I will be live later tonight. I'm not sure what time yet, but we're going to be Let's Talk About the Husband with Chell. And he'll be giving us his thoughts on things, including the Viking stuff we talked about in the beginning. But leave a comment just like this after the video post in the comment section. If I see we have 25 of those, I will do. And the more the better. But there we are. Shout out to all my super chatters today. We have David Cushmore, Chickenhead PK Neely, Silly Goose, Laura and Christy Buffenmeyer, Artist Fleetwood, Pamela B, Alexandra D, graphics designer, Evelyn, and Christina Byington. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to my mods, everyone who joined us here in the chat. You guys, if you're not already, please follow me on social media, Joleen Lunzer on Instagram and the TikToky. And from myself, producer in training Prince, producer in training Cordelia, producer Buffy. Always remember to enjoy yourself because it's later than you think. Bye.